everyone, I'm Steph,
And I'm Megan.
and welcome to another episode of Late Night Reads.
This week we are diving into the magical world of romantasy and covering Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer Armentrout. Yay!
Yay! Okay, so let's start with why we selected this book. One word. Thorne. Any questions?
I mean, done. Hands down.
Right?
Thorne.
Thorne. So he intrigued us in the Primal of Blood and Bones. We obviously had to learn more about him. And we'll talk more about this in theories, but we are extremely confident that this book takes place after the Blood and Ash timeline, causing us to want to know more about the state of the world, especially because we believe this is the continents, where we get to see a glimpse of it when Poppy is pulled there to the Primal Veil, which, obviously, if you remember, Aiden got pissed about.
Yeah.
And then also, it's called the Fall of Ruin and Wrath, which are words, Ruin and Wrath, that are used multiple times in the Primal Blood and Bone. So we know there's more going on there. And then last, but certainly not least, did we mention Thorne?
Thorne. Please be a thorn in my side. Please be a thorn in all my sides. Everywhere. Please. I would love it. But first, here are a couple of things that you should know about our lovely author, Jennifer Armentrout. She is a New York Times bestselling author and writes young adult, paranormal, science fiction, fantasy, and contemporary romance. We definitely would consider the Flesh and Fire and Blood and Ash series to be adult romantasy based on its content, and also the Fall of Ruin and Wrath based on the adult content. But Jennifer Armentrout has a full house herself. She has a husband, a dog, multiple alpacas, goats, and sheep. Basically, you name it, she's got it. She's got a house full.
So before we jump into discussing this book, a couple of key reminders. As always, this episode will contain spoilers. We assume if you're listening, you have read this book. Also, we are going to talk about things that occur in the Blood and Ash series, including the Primal Blood and Bone, as well as the Flesh and Fire series. Will there be full spoilers? Maybe. I would say I'd highly recommend you've read those books too, but there will be things we talk about. Also, this book contains a number of topics that we're going to talk about that may be sensitive for some readers. Anxiety, assault, blood, bullying, death, fire, kidnapping, murder, sexism, sexual harassment, violence, and war.
Ooh, fun times.
Why do I always say that with a smile at the end? It's like I'm done with the list and I'm like,
Violence.
yes.
Violence and war.
Yay.
Yay. I know, but you've been warned. That's our trigger warning.
You have been warned.
But now let's talk about something more fun, which are the tropes. So first and foremost, we have forced proximity. Thorne and Liz are thrown together in multiple scenarios before he shows up at the manor wanting a place to stay. She is sent to his room to service him, thanks to Claude, which eventually leads to Thorne requesting her presence for the remainder of her stay. Lucky her. Then next we have Bad Boy. Thorne is literally known as the proverbial bad boy who carries out the worst of the king's orders, which means he's going to be the best one in bed, of course. Then we have Touch Her and Die. How can we forget when Thorne kills the baker in the very beginning of the book for even hitting Liz, calling it a fatal mistake? Okay. Plus, he has no problem killing anyone else who harms her. Basically gonna just protect her forever and always. Love that. And then we have Fated Mates. She is his Nikora. Enough said. She's his everything, which she is going to figure out exactly what that means.
All right. So in terms of every magical twist, we got a lot going on here. So we start off with the prologue. Liz and Grady are low-born children, or so we're led to believe throughout a majority of the book. They're asleep when Liz is awoken by the air not feeling right, which I think is really an interesting thing. We've seen that in the Blood and Ash and the Flesh and Fire series as well. And then that's when they realize the Highborn are there. And she's worried that they might be there looking for her since she's not like other children. But Grady's like, go to sleep. Everything will be fine. I feel like that's what I would tell my children. Go to sleep. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. You're fine.
Don't worry about it.
Just go back to sleep.
And then I also thought this felt like one of those scenes in a horror movie when another character's like, there's no one in the house, and then the killer shows up out of nowhere.
You're like, oh, whoops.
So what do we know about the Highborn at this point in the book? We know that they rule the kingdom of Caelum, which I'm going to point out a couple of times. That looks very close to fucking Column's name. Just want to like throw that out there. Also,
Oh, yes.
yes, there's a couple of things in here that are very interesting, which we'll talk
Hmm.
more about, but they're considered to be scions of the gods who aren't mortal. They don't typically interact with the lowborn except during the feasts. They feed upon pleasure, and I was like, tell me more. When I read
Yes,
that, I was
please.
like, tell me more. I like this
Uh-huh.
idea. They can do whatever they want, including bringing entire cities to ruin if angered. And I was like, huh, that sounds familiar. I've heard that before. Did Eddie's mention that in the Primal Blood and Bone about how he's destroyed cities in the past out of anger? Did we basically see Castile do the same thing at the end of the book?
Interesting.
Huh. Interesting.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So the Rey, who are highborn riders, were once great lowborn warriors that fell in battle to one of these highborn princes or princesses, and now they're more than flesh and bone. Their souls captured and held by this prince, princess, or the king. And I was just like, this sounds like something out of the abyss. Do not
Yes,
like.
it does. Hmm.
Do not like. And then the capturing of souls is also really interesting because there's a lot of that we are led to believe happens in the Primal Blood and Bone too. And then the
Yes.
Prioress refers to the Highborns as angels, calling them guardians of mortals and the realm itself. And as soon as I read that, I was like, I think there's another name for Highborn out there. And I think we already know it.
Hmm. Hmm. So the highborns who are coming into this little like orphanage area are looking for a seraph. So there is a distinct mark in the eyes of a seraph, and this is why the highborn, who is Lord Samuel, is checking all the eyes of the orphans that are staying there. Grady at first is trying to hide Liz, being like, "Oh, there's no one here under my blanket." Like, no, no one's here. But unfortunately, the mister, who is honestly just like a real asshole, calls out that he usually has a girl with him, which is in reference to Liz. So Grady is then held up by Ray, and Lord Samuel then makes Grady stop talking, basically using compulsion, to cause his eyes to go wide and empty, and he can't move or speak. He's just frozen. So then another highborn lord is there with Lord Samuel, and his eyes are multiple colors: blue, green, brown. You can also see little bursts of stars in his eyes. I'm like, what does that sound like? A little kaleidoscope? Hmm.
Perhaps, right?
Interesting. I love it when worlds collide and you're like, oh, I know what this is. I know what this is.
I
There's a
know.
crossover. What's happening? And so when this highborn lord looks into Liz's eyes, he doesn't see anything special. But he does notice that she can't see anything in his mind. So she also thinks about how she felt something at that moment. She felt like a warning, like a reckoning, a promise of what's to come, and she just kind of knew there was something happening. So then the same highborn notices that there's some marks on Liz's arms and wants to know where they came from, aka like bruises and like scrapes and stuff. She literally doesn't say anything at all, but just looks over at the mister and nods, basically, communicating that like this guy did this to her. So then the highborn lord kills the mister for hurting her. And Liz also knows that she'll see this highborn lord again. She just has this feeling like, I'm going to see this guy again. And we eventually learn that highborn lord was Thorne.
Oh. Talk about touch her and die, like right from the beginning as a child.
Very, very beginning. Yes.
So, fast forward to present day, Liz and Grady have been living with the Baron of Archwood, Claude, for 6 years. Are we saying this Callista?
Oh, I said Celesta.
Celesta. Call it Celesta
Or
then. I look forward,
Celestia or whatever. Yeah.
Celestia. We will look forward to everyone's feedback on our pronunciation. Actually, my pronunciation poorly of said word. But he's a mortal, descended from a rare joining of a lowborn and a highborn. And I'm sorry, I was like joining, but it was
Joining?
not capitalized, so it was different.
No. Different kind of joining. Boo.
Yes, boo. But they're born and they age similarly to lowborns or mortals. So one of the reasons Claude likes to keep Liz around is due to her gift of foresight, allowing her to see the future of another person. And he has used this gift to his benefit,
Of
but he doesn't
course.
like it when she uses it on him. I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
We also learn that one of the other women living with Claude is Naomi, and she prefers if Liz avoids using foresight on her. I would feel the same. But today is an exception because she wants to know about the future of her sister who's been ill with a fever. And so Liz touches Naomi's hand, has her ask the question about her sister again, which then allows Liz to see that answer. But what's also interesting is that Liz has to quiet her mind to ensure she doesn't see anything else from Naomi outside of that topic. And as soon as I read this, I was like, this reminds me so much of Poppy.
Right? Yes. Also, I just remembered there was a pronunciation guide in the beginning of the book, so I just double checked it. It looks like it's like C-A, Lestia. So I'm like, is that ka or se? So I'm like, maybe it could
Calestia?
be Calestia. Yeah.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
wish
go
I wish there was
Calestia.
like a Calestia. That works too. Either way, we know what
I'll
we're all
probably
talking about
say it
here.
4 times wrong or
We'll say
differently
it,
in this
yeah,
episode.
10 different ways each time. Exactly. Like whatever. I kept saying
But
Celestia in my head, but
you'll
Calestia,
know
I
what we
don't know.
mean.
You know what I mean. We'll ask Jennifer Armentrout when we get the chance. So we also learned that the feasts are about a month away, and this will be the first time that Liz gets to attend. So basically, the best way to describe this feast is like an orgy. Hi.
Hi,
Um,
we're interested.
Interested, yes. So technically, the feasts are a way for the highborn to reaffirm their commitment to the lowborn by sharing their wealth of food and drink and their bodies. And all that turns into lots and lots of sex, basically. It's kind of like Calamai from like Akatar, is what it reminded me of,
Yes.
basically. So then we learn that there are the dominions, which are the uppermost sphere of the highborns. And we're like, dominions, dominions. We know what that
those
is.
are.
I know them. And they allegedly emerged from the ground and came into existence fully formed and ageless. So just like beautiful all the time. And they are capable of manipulating the elements, so the elemental, and the minds of others. And the most powerful dominions are the princes and princesses who rule over the 6 territories of Callum. Calum. Oh, see, now I'm going to do it. I think it's Callum.
I think it's
So,
Callum.
I think it's Callum. So they can allegedly take different shapes and seize the souls of the lowborn, again, soul eaters, creating the ray. And not much here is known about the dominions, not even their names. However, the most feared one is the Prince of Vitrus, or Vitrus. Vitrus?
Like
Who
Vitrus. It sounds
Vitrus.
scarier
Yeah.
and sexier.
Mm. And the Prince of Vitrus is the hand that delivers the wrath of the King Euros. So basically, he's our bad boy.
And I was like, yes, please let that be Thorne.
Please let it be Thorne. Please let it be Thorne.
Please. So while the Highborn are supposedly the protectors, Liz doesn't see it that way, considering they have all this tremendous wealth and the poor often starve. It's one of the many reasons why the lowborn rebellions rise up. Most interestingly, probably not to everyone else, but to me, I was like, Naomi shares that the Highborns are known for climaxes that last for hours. And I was like, excuse me? Hours?
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 Sorry, I can't come into work today. I climaxed 4 hours ago and I'm still
orgasming?
going through it. Yeah.
That sounds. I was like,
Sign
where
me
do I sign up?
Can I get into this club?
What is this? Please
Please
tell me more.
Oh, good Lord.
So next up, Claude is throwing a small soiree where basically he's sitting on a throne, as one does. As one
Naturally.
does.
Mhm.
Other wealthy people are milling about. Liz is sitting near Claude, and he's questioning why she's not drinking more and why she's being so quiet. Like, why are you making good choices, Liz?
Why are you not participating in this orgy?
Also, why are you not sleeping around? Like, I've noticed you've not been sleeping in anyone else's quarters. And I'm like, what? And that's when we learn the women who live with Claude sometimes sleep with Claude, as well as others who are just around. They're referred to as his paramours. And I was like, this is high-class brothel, but no money's exchanged for sex. But I assume, like, if he lets, like, his friends sleep with you, does Claude get a favor?
Right? Like they're your prized concubines in a way?
Right. But you're not exclusive?
Not exclusive. Just kind of allowed safekeeping.
Yes.
Which is exactly what Liz wants. So that's okay. But this is also where we learn that Liz and Claude used to have a sexual relationship, but that has just kind of like withered away. She just doesn't feel like he wants her anymore, and he is now distracted by the newest girl that they've invited to join their living arrangement. Shocker. He's like, ooh, something shiny. I'm going over there.
Something
So while
shiny and
Liz,
younger.
shiny, yeah, woo. And she's not really heartbroken about this, about Claude like not wanting her, because she still just has like normal desires and like wants to be wanted to someone by someone. But the physical connection is complicated for her due to her foresight because whenever she touches somebody, she automatically can start reading them. So it's hard for her to like physically be intimate with somebody because she just gets overwhelmed by all of that. Makes sense. So then we get to meet Claude's second in command and relations, which is Heimel, who's a real piece of work. He's his cousin. He's kind of a dick. We just don't love him. He seems to love poking the bear and irritating Liz at any time. He's just like, when can I just like make her feel like shit right now? Great, I'm gonna do it. Just like the biggest jerk you've ever met. So then during the party, Claude and Liz learn about some problems going on in the Westland court and how it's at odds now with the king. So apparently there were two chancellors who were sent there on behalf of the king, and then they were returned in pieces. Like,
Great.
ugh, yuck. So apparently the princess of Visalia is now amassing a substantial army of her people and the Iron Knights, who are a group of rebellious lowborns, and they've been known to cause problems throughout the kingdom for the past year. The Iron Knights want the highborn king to be replaced with a lowborn king. We are going to have some very interesting drama coming up with that, I am sure.
We are. And at this point, I was like, I'm getting major Halloween Town vibes. So,
Ooh,
right?
yes.
Because we have the Dominion, which is very much like the kind of like the last Halloween Town movie. We have the Iron Knights, which remind me of the Knights in Halloween Town High. So I was just
I love me
like,
some Halloween Town. It's great.
who doesn't, right?
Yeah. True classic.
True classic. If you haven't watched it, there's always a time. It's so good.
It's good.
All right, so we also learned about this so-called Great War. So if you hear us use the word so-called or allegedly, spoiler alert, we don't believe what we're being told, or we believe there's more to it. But the so-called Great War took place 4 centuries ago and left nearly nothing of the realm behind. This is one of the many breadcrumbs related to where this book fits into the Blood and Ash world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to note it says left nearly nothing of the realm behind. It's not saying that a new realm was created.
Yes.
So while an impending war does not sound great, that is not the biggest concern at the moment because Liz is like, he's coming. And I was like, well, that's kind of creepy. Like,
is he coming? Is she coming?
Well, later. But at first I was like, right? He's coming. That doesn't sound like that sounds ominous. Like, what do you mean he's coming? And so she knows someone's headed her way, but she doesn't know who. And all I thought was, well, if you have true foresight, like the Videntia, you wouldn't know things related to you. So it wouldn't tell you more information. And this is where I started to wonder, like, is her, what she's calling foresight, really what we know in the Blood and Ash world as Videntia? So
I think
what
so.
does a girl got to do when she can't sleep and she has a weird feeling? Clearly leave the safety of her room and just wander off into the night.
It's not what I would have done.
No. I would have stayed in my room. I would have been like, I just need a book. Give me my Kindle.
Or, you know, a glass dildo.
Right? Where does one buy a glass dildo? Or a trunk of them? You could ask Colas. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm getting some major Poppy and Sarah vibes from Liz very clearly. You have a bad feeling, and instead of just letting it go, you're like, let's just go wander off into the night. And I do love
this bad feeling takes me.
Just see what happens. And you know what? We do love a girl who makes reckless decisions. And I was like, at this point, I'm like, I hope she's stabby too. Like, I really hope she's stabby. So, but first, she does a responsible thing. Why not go brush her horse in the middle of the night? So her horse's name is Iris. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then she quickly feels her intuition demand that she follow it. And I'm like, that also is interesting because we've heard about that as well. Remember with like ethos And then Sarah in the Flesh and Fire series, where they would have these feelings and how it would keep Ethos up if he didn't like listen to it. And I was like, this is not just what you think it is, lady. So she's learned to listen to it, otherwise she'll get very little rest. And therefore, scurry along, we must go.
Scurry along with our horsey. So, following her intuition, Liz overhears two of Claude's guards talking about getting him. Like, we're gonna go get him. And how they were sure he was from Primavera, and he matched the description that Muriel gave them. So, another new name. And apparently, the bar owner gave this mysterious guy the house special to knock him out. And he's currently being held in the back of the blacksmith's barn, and they put spikes in him. Yeah, like what? Spikes inside
like,
of somebody? It's like, well, clearly this is going to be a very powerful person if a spike is needed to hold him down. And that's because they've captured a highborn. And now they are planning to harvest his parts for use in bone magic, which is illegal.
And
Also,
gross.
Ew? Yeah, ew.
Ew.
Yuck. So while Liz, like, doesn't want this situation to be, like, her problem, she's like, ooh, that sucks for that guy. Like, I don't want to be him. She also just can't fight her intuition to tell her that she needs to go help. So she's like, God damn it. Okay, I gotta help this guy. So she heads over to the blacksmith's house to help save this highborn. And she's on her horse, just like slowly making her way, being like, I think it's this way. No, I think it's that way. Like her intuition is like a little compass, just like leading her to this highborn.
What was interesting when they said about harvesting his parts for bone magic, and I was like, I swear, if this is the Dead Bones clan, I can't.
Oh.
That was like my first thought, and I was like, oh no, we know I have very few trigger warnings. Snakes, Dead Bones clan.
Well, you know how we kept wondering, like, how does one get an ancient bone? Like a dagger made of ancients' bones?
Apparently like this.
They harvest them.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Okay.
I don't like it.
So let's dive into what happens when we get to the blacksmith's barn. So the highborn is stretched out on a wooden table in a non-sexy way because he's got spikes in his forearms and his thighs and one in the center of his chest, just maybe an inch or two from his heart. And I'm like, cool. The spikes are milky white, made of lunia. The only object, Lunea?
I called it Lunea.
Lunea? We'll call it Lunea.
Lunea? I don't know. It's not like Lunea, like moon, loon. Oh.
Lunea. The only object able to pierce the skin of a highborn and forbidden for any lowborn to be in possession of it. Makes sense. And I was like, does this remind me of anything else? Perhaps Bones of the Ancients?
Right?
Just like perhaps. Is this how they're... Well, and is that, like, are these Lunea what you use for it?
Yeah. Ugh.
Buckets are underneath the table to collect his blood, as one would do, of course.
Blech.
Great.
Yuck.
And then she sees a pattern in his skin that resembles a vine. And I was like, that also sounds familiar because we've seen that in Ancients and in Castile on the Primal Blood and Bone. And we were told by one of our least favorite fates, Aiden, that only other Ancients, the true Primal of Life or the true Primal of Death, should be able to see it. And I was like, what does that mean about you, Liz?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So immediately I was like, okay.
She can see it. You're not who you think you are. Mm-mm.
So then she feels this whooshing sensation multiple times and then realizes it's the same man as the highborn lord she met years ago. And I think it's interesting that it's a whooshing sensation and what we learned later about her being his Nikora, because that feels like a heart connection to me.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh, love it.
So what'd she do? She decides to pull out the spike in his chest. And I'm like, great. And then the opening starts smoking. And I was like,
at least snakes didn't come out. No snakes.
That's true. Oh, God. That's good. Thank God.
I was worried.
You were?
I'll take smoke. Smoke's okay.
Smoke's fine.
Like, I don't love it, but also I'm like, it's okay.
And then she hears a noise. And when she turns around, the man is gone. And I was like, that's bad. And the spikes remain on the table. And I'm like, so hold on. You pulled the one out of his chest. And then, like, he just was able to, like, apparate? Like, what happened? Like, how did he move?
Right? Like, what were those other spikes even for? It was just the main one to hold him down. The other ones are decoration?
I guess.
He didn't do anything?
Pull him out? Like, how fast do you go?
Whew.
So then we learn that the lamps in the barn go out and her instinct tells her to run. And I was like, yes, listen, this is like a horror movie. You need to run.
You should run.
But she can't because she's very quickly attacked by the man who she was trying to save. And he thinks she's the one who wanted him captured. And I'm like, no good deed goes unpunished, apparently.
Cue the Wicked song. Yep. So this highborn lord is now choking her and doesn't stop until she tries to like reiterate that she was trying to help save him. Like, I'm trying to help you. Like, as much as she can get out. Thankfully, he does believe her and lets her go. But he is also in a very weakened state, and he apparently doesn't have any eyes at the moment. Just like, gone. They've been scooped out. But don't worry.
Ew.
They'll regenerate.
Oh, great.
Like, you're like a lizard that can regenerate its tail. You can regenerate eyes.
And arms and like limbs at some point, too.
All body parts.
Which, think about that.
I was like, what else can you regenerate?
Ooh.
But I hope that doesn't get chopped off because ow. We need that.
But also when he talks about regeneration, I was like, do you remember when in the Primal Blood and Bone, when Etius loses part of his arm and he's like, don't worry, it'll grow back?
Yes. That's true.
And I was like, if I would have read this before reading the Primal Blood and Bone, I don't think I would have gotten as much out of this book.
Yeah. So very interesting. But then things get a little bit more complicated when the town baker shows up and finds Liz, demanding to know, like, why are you here? What are you doing? And she's like, oh, I was just going for a walk. Ha 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 ha. Doesn't work because she is covered in blood, the highborn's blood. So the baker knows what she's up to, hits Liz, and then the highborn shows up and kills him, stating that striking her was a fatal mistake. And yes, it was. And it's also given us major Castile and Nictos vibes already. I'm like, oh, hi, Shadow Daddy. Hi, Bad Boy.
Right?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So then Liz decides that they need to clean him up. So she takes the highborn lord into the blacksmith's house because she heard that the blacksmith wasn't going to be back for a while because he's out getting laid, basically. So go inside his house to bathe. The Lunea, apparently, the blood, bone stuff, it contaminated his blood and sweat. And the fool's parsley was the special drink that was given to him. It basically makes it hard for his body to like flush everything out. So it knocked him all out. So bathing him and like washing everything away is supposed to help with the process of getting all of this nasty stuff out of his system. So his senses that he has in this state reminds us so much of the Wolven or like the primal gods, because he can tell that Liz was in a garden earlier and he can smell like the catmint on her. He's just like, where were you? It smells like this. And then he also shares that if a Lunea blade is left in a highborn or its like wound goes untreated, then it can turn into a toxin, which basically will break down the tissue and like really hurt them, potentially kill them. And mentions that another of his kind would need far more than water and time to heal. So he is very, very strong. He also calls Liz a new little pet name. It's a Nale, and says it has many meanings, including describing someone brave, or it can also describe somebody who's very stubborn. And she's like, what is it in this moment? He's like, both, stubborn and brave. But immediately I'm starting to question if like that's the same as like a Lisa, because it totally reminds us of a shadow in the ember and what Ash called Sarah when he first met her. So I'm like, Lisa, Nale, I want you, you're my heartmate, I love you. I think so. So it turns out this highborn has body parts that have many uses besides our favorite. So their blood can apparently heal a wound or cause crops to flourish. Ingesting it will kill a mortal. Burying one of their hands will cause land to be plagued by drought and disease to flourish everywhere, which makes me think of the rot.
Yep.
And then their teeth, when dropped into water, can create money. That's interesting.
Odd.
Why?
Like the Tooth Fairy.
Like, oh, that's fun. Okay, I like that. Change approved. And then an eye apparently will warn whoever wears it of anyone approaching. So we already know he's missing two eyes. So
Like who's
somebody
wearing
has...
on a
Who's wearing
necklace?
his eyes? Ew. Oh. And then apparently his tongue, with taken out, the tongues will force people to speak the truth. And then their bones are used to restore health, and their hair ensures that you remain in good health. And then their skin can actually help to ward off nicks, which nicks are very, very scary. And then here's our favorite one. Being in possession of their cock ensures a fruitful union. Wow, wow, wow. I understand now why perhaps somebody would want to harvest them for all their body parts. Still doesn't make it right, but
No.
very interesting. So what we know so far is that someone did take his eyes. So somebody out there has
Some two
two
things.
eyes to warn them of anyone approaching.
So we also find out the dicks that Megan mentioned being super creepy is similar to a ray, but different because it's thinner, faster, and has sharp teeth and claws.
Kind of
No.
sounds like a yeah.
No,
Like
not
almost
interested.
reminds me of like a germ in a way, just like
Right?
ugh.
But they can get into your head, causing you to think that you're seeing and experiencing things that aren't real. And I was like, once again, sounds like something that would come out of the abyss in Colas, where he can do that. Did not love that. Then, what does one do when they're in a blacksmith's house with a highborn that almost died and wanted to kill them? We get naked.
Oh yeah,
That's what Liz
naturally.
does. And I was like, why are we taking off our clothes? I mean, I'm not objecting,
No, that's
but
okay.
also because she's gonna help bathe him. So, and then she takes his clothes off, and I'm like, he almost died. We're just taking a bath, right?
Right? Does he have the strength to do anything else?
Could he?
Could he? How fast do we regenerate? What's our
Well, what's the time
what's our
lapse on
turnover
that?
time? Yeah, what's our turnover time in other areas?
But she knows that she doesn't feel anything when she touches him, not like what she experiences with others. And she notices the markings on his face are gone. And she mentions that to him, and he claims that she was mistaken. And so I wonder in this moment, has he never seen the markings on his face?
Oh.
Oh,
See, I
right?
thought he was just blowing it off, being
Or
like,
is he
oh,
blowing it off?
that's what I thought.
The only reason I bring up the first part is because we learn later that he thinks that he was created and all these other things that we know are not true based on the timeline when we believe this book occurred. So it makes me wonder if he's never seen them. Like if he had to be like in such an injured state in order for them to appear.
Yes. Could be true.
But to change the subject, he's like, "Will you keep bathing me?" And I'm like, "Yes, she will."
Yes.
And the sexual
Yes.
tension is through the roof. And
Lower,
I'm like, I'm
lower, lower.
right? I'm like, I'm here for this. But nothing
Yes.
happens. Because Liz assumes that what she's feeling is solely due to the sensuality that highborn exude. And then she decides to get dressed. And I'm like, why are we putting our clothes on? Like,
Keep them off.
no, keep them off. And then he claims that she saved multiple lives tonight because he would eventually have escaped. And I'm like, really? Would you? You were held down by 5 spikes.
Yeah.
It did
yeah,
not
you
look like it was going well for you.
seemed pretty incapacitated at the moment.
And then he would have leveled half the town in his anger. And I'm like, okay, well, at least it wouldn't have been the whole town, I guess. And he wouldn't have felt bad about it.
No.
Then he also notices that she's not afraid of him, but she fidgets. And I was like, once again, I'm getting more Poppy and Sarah vibes, like from fidgeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then she thinks about telling him that they previously met because she knows he's the guy that she met in Union City. And her intuition's like, don't do that. And she listens to it. Then he is able to heal the bruises on her throat from his hands, her eyes and her nose from where she got punched by the baker with his touch, or should I say lips. And I was like, you got little soft kisses? Oh, yes. Little kisses, yes, please. And he has a faint golden glow around him after doing that. And supposedly that happens when he's feeding. And I'm like, it also happens when a primal of life is doing things too and healing. I was like, interesting. Before Liz leaves, he notices her horse and says, it's a fine horse. And normally I would not think anything about that comment, but I was like, hold please. You notice the horse, you specifically ask if it's hers, and then you weirdly pause and say, it's a fine horse. And I'm like, what do you know about the horse? Because I had theorized for a long time that Sati was something like Castile's horse belonged to Etty's at some point. And we learned that that's true.
Yes.
And how that happened. Now I'm like, Liz, is your horse Iris, which sounds vaguely familiar to another name in the Blood and Ash series? Is there more to your horse?
Right? Could it be perhaps a projection of something?
Sent to watch over you?
A guardian angel.
Perhaps. Just
Yes.
throwing it out there.
I like it. So the next morning, basically after like she's gone back to Claude's house, the manor, Liz learns that fires happened at the bar and at the blacksmith's place. And there are also some bodies that were found, according to Grady. And Liz, of course, ends up spilling the beans about what happened the previous night to Grady. And he thinks she was absolutely insane for doing any of those things and doing it all alone. Yeah, he's not wrong. Like, yes, she was insane. But we kind of love that about her. Like, she's cute but crazy. Like, we love her.
Yes.
It's fine. It's all good. But it's nice that he's, like, literally trying to, like, just be her common sense of, like, that was a very stupid and unwise thing to do. You should not have done that. You are unwise.
He's kind of like Reaver. I was going to say, he's kind of like Reaver and Karen. Like,
Reaver, Karen combined.
Did you need to do that? That was unwise.
Maybe next time we don't do that.
What if we didn't? And I'm like, but what if we did?
But what if we did? Yes. So then Liz tells Claude about how she overheard 2 of his guards being involved in the shadow market, insinuating that her foresight had told her about it, but we know the truth. She overheard everything. Claude quickly assumes that the golden fires and the bodies are now related to that situation, which Liz can confirm for him. And she offers to try and learn if any of the other guards in his area are involved in any of this. She also realized that when she mentioned Muriel's name, she doesn't know anything about him, meaning maybe he's a highborn. I'm starting to beg the question now, like, why would another highborn be involved in bone magic? Why would one highborn want to harvest another highborn's body?
Because they can't order ancient bones off of Amazon, Megan.
I mean, you would think you could. I mean, you can get everything off
By
Amazon.
this point, right?
Right? Yeah. It's like, excuse me, I would like to order some highborn cocks.
I need a shit ton of ancient bones delivered to my house. What are you planning?
Yes.
Nothing?
Nothing. Don't look at my search history. Nothing's happening. It's fine. Speaking of, it is now orgy time. Party time. Woo. Yay! So Claude is now enjoying himself with some midnight oil, which is a powder that is derived from poppies. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And his newest little girlfriend, Allison, is in his lap. They're having a grand old time. Various people are in the room and having a variety of sexual acts done to them and doing them to each other. Reminds us a lot of the type of stories that Colas like to throw.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So another man comes over to Liz and tries to get frisky with her. And she's just like, no, I'm good. But this guy does not want to take no for an answer. So she literally uses her powers on him to learn a variety of information and freaks him the fuck out with it. Like, maybe you should go home to your wife and this is her name and blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, okay, never mind. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.
So then Naomi decides, why not? I tease Liz with my touch, and it gets her very hot and bothered because like she can touch Liz, but Liz doesn't touch her back, and it works. But Liz is also thinking about her highborn lord, and I was like, wait a second, you just started referring to him as yours. I like this. I like where this is headed.
Mm-hmm.
So back in her room, Liz is still hot and bothered and decides just to take care of the situation herself by masturbating. And she's imagining being with this highborn lord again. And then while she orgasms, she feels left feeling aching and unfulfilled. And I'm like, I get that.
I mean, yes. What's also interesting is while she's masturbating, she's thinking not only about the highborn lord, but she's thinking about her friend Naomi touching her too. Like,
yes.
About the 2 of them doing that together. And I'm like, is this a joining in a different way that you are trying to picture and throw out into the universe?
Because we'd be here for it.
We'd be here for it. Okay.
So what's a girl got to do when she's left feeling achy and unfulfilled? Wander out into the night, of course.
Of course, naturally. You
Naturally.
already masturbated, check. So you're like, well, that didn't help, so.
But it must not have been a good orgasm because it would have caused her to go to sleep based on science.
Science, yes. Mm-hmm.
So she just feels like a desire to be outside. I never feel a desire to be outside in the middle of the night.
No, it's cold.
This is how I knew she was like young.
Yeah.
Because this is like what 20 something, early 20 something Stephanie would have done. She'd be like, yeah, it's like 2 a.m. It's totally fine to go out.
Well,
No,
we
it's
can
not.
wander the streets, take our shoes off because our heels hurt, and
I don't need a coat
yeah.
and it's 30 degrees. It's hot.
I've got a liquid courage and a liquid blanket. I'm fine.
Correct. And then we learn that there's these mysterious spheres that are floating in the air that are somehow related to the Highborn and show up in the weeks before the feast and disappear afterwards. And all I thought was, are these the floating lanterns from Tangled? Because that is
Yes,
like what I pictured in my mind.
that's what I pictured too. Exactly. But then I started picturing them to actually be like little,
They're ball shaped, right?
like blue balls.
Oh, I did not picture blue balls.
See, then I started picturing them like the wisps from like Brave,
Ooh.
with Merida. It's just like
Yes.
little like wisps, but they're like, but instead of like little like fiery things, they're just like balls that float up in the air. I mean, could you play
This
Keep Me Uppy
also,
with them? I wonder.
that'd be fun. I also went down a really weird path once I started thinking about these lanterns, which I was like, oh, that's like Tangled. And I was like, why is it called Tangled and not Rapunzel? And then I
Oh,
started going through like every Disney princess movie, and they're all, for the most part, the princess's name, except for that one, Brave,
Princess and the Frog,
Princess and the Frog.
not
Why
Tiana.
is that? Just food for thought. Random things I think where my mind goes. We're we're in this wholly other fantasy world talking about
Well, I do know
orgasms that can last
they
for
wanted
hours.
yeah, I do know that they wanted to make it Tangled to appeal more to everybody, not just like little girls. Like, oh,
Ah,
Rapunzel. They wanted it to kind of have that name too. At one
these are
point, they
things I
thought
think
about
about.
calling it like The Adventures of Flynn Rider. Like,
I would still watch that.
I'll also watch it. Or you get tangled up in everything and hair.
That's a different type of non-Disney movie.
Yes. But what was funny when I worked at Disney and I was best friends with Rapunzel, people would always say, "Oh, look, it's tangled," and then I would respond say, "Really? I just brushed it."
Oh,
So
that's funny.
it was a great little line. So I love that. Anyway, back to orgies. But anyway.
Pivot.
So Liz, her intuition now is causing her to search for these voices that she has overheard. And she had a bloody vision that she knows is coming. And it's not her period. Sorry, that was too easy. She hears voices, right? And she's like following like the floating lights, the spheres, and she sees her highborn lord and another highborn, who apparently is named Nathaniel. So Thorne, as she finds out his name, asks nicely for her to wait a minute and then proceeds to turn to Nathaniel into ash with his hands. I'm sorry, excuse me?
Excuse
You
me?
just like, he was there 1 minute and now he's ash. Just gone.
Hold, please. I must murder someone.
Yes, please. Oh, lovely.
Oh,
Can't wait.
it's fine.
So then our dear friend Muriel, who we have been so suspicious about, like, who is this Muriel person and what do they want? Shows up and grabs Liz by the neck, threatening to kill her if Thorne comes any closer. So from this exchange with Muriel, we learned that Thorne is seeking some type of information, and it's likely something the king won't like knowing Thorne was looking for. So Thorne isn't worried, honestly, because he's one of the king's favorites. So, I'm sorry, you're the king's favorite? I don't know if that's a good thing because when we think of favorites, we think of Colas and his favorites. Throw up in your mouth a little
Well,
bit. Blech.
no, thank you.
So, yeah, no, thank you. So Muriel is like trying to leave with Liz and, basically again threatening to kill her. And Thorne just acts like he doesn't care much at all. And then like suddenly they're gone. He's like, yeah, I don't care. Take her. Like, whatever. You can do whatever you want. So Muriel's like, okay, I'm going to call your bluff on that. And I'm just going to keep walking this way with her. But then Thorne crashes into Muriel. Somehow Liz accidentally goes flying across like the forest and experiences tremendous pain. Yeah, she probably landed on something not so good. And she just blacks out. So now when she wakes up, Thorne is there. But she remembers also hearing another voice, which turns out to be Lord Bastian. So we learn that Thorne may have thrown her a little bit too hard. Oops.
Just a bit.
He's like, I forgot you're like a small little thing, and I just like tossed you aside. And I'm kind of like, pick me up and toss me aside. Woo! Throw me against the
But
wall,
like
please.
onto the bed.
Be like onto the bed or like against a wall or like I don't know, whatever. It's fine. Just you can toss me around. It's fine. I'll be your rag doll. I love it. Um, so he's like, oopsies, I threw you too hard and I hurt you, but I did heal all of your injuries, so you're okay. You're welcome now. And then he also reminds her that Nale also is to mean stubborn one. So I'm like, okay, so it means like a brave person, a stubborn person. And now again, that's very fitting because she didn't listen to him when Muriel was choking her. And I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry, but Liz does not know you very well, Thorne. So you were literally saying you did not care if she died. So why would she have trusted you to actually save her? Like, words did mean something, and she doesn't know you otherwise. So, just saying. Food for thought there, Thorne. Maybe you should be a little bit more forthcoming with your words. Or, like, give a girl a wink, you know? Like, let her know, like, yeah, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. I'll save you. You know? I don't know. Might be easy. So, we also learned that Nale can also mean outspoken and ungrateful. What kind of fucking language is this? It can mean,
Right?
like, so many different things. And honestly, it's like me trying to learn French right now. I'm like, so you're saying vert, and vert means green, glass, worm, and go forward. I don't get it. So basically, Nale can just mean all sorts of things, and it depends on the context, and maybe you'll be offended, maybe you won't. Good times.
We also learn that these mysterious spheres are called souls. Souls of all that is around you. Trees, grass, flowers. They can understand what you say, and their light goes brighter when they do. And I was like, I can't tell if that's cool or creepy. It's like a thin line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he finally tells her that his name is Thorne, and he makes it clear while he does have more important things to do with his time, he's with her because he wants to be. And I was like, you were giving me some serious Niktos vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wants to know what led her to the garden at night, almost like he's trying to figure out why they keep being drawn together. And this is where I started to wonder, do you know who she is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you waiting for her to figure it out? Before she leaves, he's like, "Can you keep quiet about, the fact that I killed 2 highborns tonight?" What? Who is gonna go? Yeah, I just watched this crazy powerful man kill 2 highborns. I'm pretty sure he killed like 7 other people the other night. Yeah, I want to go rat him out. No, thank you.
No, I'll keep quiet.
But then there's this moment where like she's pretty sure he's gonna kiss her, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen. And then he tells her to go home quickly because things are moving in the garden, and they will find her flesh as tasty as he does lovely. And I was like, that's a really hot line, but also why does bad shit have to show up? We're getting like a little tease. I was like, kiss.
Why am I terrified and turned on at the same time?
Right?
It's like you find me lovely, but something else wants to eat me. Oh,
excuse me,
no.
what? And he's like, run.
This is very conflicting information. So she runs away. That's very good. And the next day, Claude learns that at least 3 guards were killed the previous evening, and there are likely more, but it's hard to tell because they are in pieces.
Great.
In pieces. And the belief is that the Nemirs caused it. So yeah, Nemirs or Nymir is basically another type of a highborn, and it has a wingspan of up to 7 feet with talons that are sharper and longer than a bear's. Scary. Not only that, their head looks mortal, but their body is like similar to an eagle's. So I'm like kind of picturing like a Griffith kind of a thing.
I don't like this.
But like a human head. So very scary.
Like, how weird is that?
I don't want to see any nightmares. No, thank you so much.
No.
Don't want it. And that's why Thorne was telling her to run, because he could sense them coming and they would find her, tasty. So the guards believe the Nightmares were heading for something in the garden. And basically those dead guards got in the way of that somehow.
Oh, lucky them.
Whoopsies. Wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
So, and apparently it's very unusual occurrence for the Nightmares to behave like this. But there must have been lots of weird things happening, and there are now reports of like highborn fighting. So they're like, maybe that's why they came. Who knows? All of this basically sounds horrible. Don't love it. But Claude now is mainly worried about any of his guests at tonight's party accidentally stumbling on a body part. Heaven forbid. It's like, oh my God, you are a shitty leader. Like, you do not give a shit about any of these people about why these nightmares are here. You only care about, oh, is one of my guests going to accidentally step on a finger or foot that's been
They go to
dismembered?
what if a guest goes to go fuck someone in the garden and they find a leg?
Oh. I mean,
Oh,
yes, they would be distraught by that. But maybe let's make sure that just doesn't happen and your guests don't get dismembered.
correct. One
A
would
lot of
think.
foreshadowing. A lot of
It is.
foreshadowing there, I feel like, yeah.
Claude also wants to know if Liz knew anything about what happened with the Nightmare or if she had any intuition about it happening. And it's a really odd comment because up until this point, we've been led to believe she has to physically see someone or touch them to have her intuition work. And Claude should know that too. Right? So that's why it's odd that like he lashes out at her, demanding to know if she was involved in the attack. And I'm like, what do you know, Claude? So at this point, I know like he knows more about her than he's told her. He does apologize for losing his temper, claiming he's not angry at her. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about you, Claude.
Yeah.
So a few days later, she wakes up to learn that she's been summoned by Claude. Great, love that for her.
Yeah.
A member of the royal court has shown up with 3 guests and needs shelter for the evening. And at the point, I'm like, how is this Liz's problem?
Yeah, she's like, okay, what else?
Okay, so the royal court member refuses to explain to Claude why he's there until the morning. And I'm like, is that because Claude is 3 sheets to the wind again? It is.
Mhm. Yes.
And Claude's worried that the visit could be related to him not paying his quarterly tithes. I'm like, perhaps, but I don't think they send like a member of the royal court there. And he needs Liz to use her special powers and get information, also insinuating that Liz will need to have sex with this man. And I'm like, okay, interesting.
Great. So then Liz is escorted to go and see Maven, who basically is the old lady who has to prepare her to seduce this man. Which, that's got to be an interesting job, to be this old lady being like, here, let me wax you, remove all your body hair, and prepare you to go and sleep with someone. Cool. So she's like the mistress, the headmistress, if you will. The madame, perhaps.
It's like a cheap salon,
Yeah.
like, or spa.
Yeah, you get your nails done, get your hair done, get your makeup done, get waxed. Oof. Which, yeah, that's very interesting to hear about all that. Lovely, lovely. And basically, as she is going to Maven, Liz is given some Long Night, which is a drug from Grady, that basically will allow her to control how far this evening goes with this man, meaning that she could just slip it in this guy's drink and slip out of there if she wants. So needless to say, Grady also is very pissed that she is being used in this manner, even though Liz continues to reiterate, like, she's choosing to do this. It was my choice. He asked me to. It's fine. But Grady's like, I don't like it. I don't want you to do this. Please don't do this. She's like, it's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. So she gets all dolled up by Maven. She goes to enter the room of the royal court member, and all the lights are off. And then suddenly a man grabs her and demands to know why she is in his room. Thorne, though, immediately knows it's her, because it's him. He's the one in the room. It's him. Hi. But he doesn't understand why she's there. Way to go, Claude. Like, thank you so much. You're so fucking out of it that you didn't even tell her that who it was coming. And, like, you didn't even tell him that you were going to send entertainment to his room. Like, really? Really? You're setting everybody up for failure here. That's kind of
Correct.
a faux pas.
So we learned a lot from this encounter with Thorne. So first, he refers to the skirmish with the Nightmares as an inconvenience.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Inconvenience.
that's not what I would expect if people ended up in parts. The Nightmares serve as guards of the Highborn and can become loyal to some, which is likely why they showed up. And I was like, interesting. Liz also assumes that Prince Rainier from Primavera will be upset by the deaths of 2 members of his court and then the Nightmares. And Thorne's like, I think it'll be quite the opposite. And I'm like, okay, so we are getting a little taste of like politics in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And Thorne mentions if his men were in the room with him, Liz wouldn't have reached him. And I was like, okay. And then he comments on how no being is so powerful that they cannot become weak, not a lord, a prince, or a king, which I thought was a very interesting and foreboding comment.
Mm-hmm.
Thorne can summon the element of fire, but that requires divius or energy to be spent and needs to be replenished. And I was like, that sounds like some fire god or some primal god things that we know.
Ether, perhaps.
ether, perhaps, or the essence. Thorne assumed Liz was a member of the Aristo, given her clothing and her home in the manor. He never found a mortal to be as interesting or enthralling. Which I was like, ooh. And so this is where I'm like, okay, you're heartmates. Like, I'm like so convinced at this point.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me a lot of when Castile meets Poppy when he's posing as Hawk. And especially when you read A Soul of Ash and Blood and you hear like how he's drawn to her. He's never felt this way about someone before. He can't explain it. And then Thorne asks for her name because I'm like, oh, that's right. You didn't know that.
Yeah.
And
Never
we
bothered
learn
to
her
ask.
full,
What's your name?
right? What's your name? You've seen me naked and helped me bathe and saved my life, but
Don't know your name.
don't know your name. But her name is Callista, which means, he says, means beautiful. And then he would like for her to bathe him since she's there to service him after all. And I was like, okay, so, okay. And then she has this sense that she could get into a highborn's mind, but every time she does, it's nothing more than static. And so I was like, okay, so he can put up walls, like mental shields, like we've heard about before.
Mm-hmm. So while Liz is now bathing him, Thorne wants to know more about her. Okay, why not? It's like it's sharing time, people. Like
You're just naked in the tub.
naked. Yeah, so you're gonna touch my naked body and bathe me, and you're gonna tell me about your life. Okay. So she starts off by sharing where she's from, and then he drops his own little secret that he is from Vitris. Oh yeah, that's right. He is the Prince of Vitris. You know, the one that's supposedly like really, really bad, and that when he's acted on behalf of the king, violence and destruction almost always follow. So immediately she's like, oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. It's not good. And apparently he tells her that he has not created any ray in a long time because it seems unfair to do that to a soul. Interesting. So you have a little compassion there, perhaps? And Thorne...
Is that what Tawny is?
Oh. Ooh, does that mean she's going to slowly like wither away and be a little more than flesh and bone?
I think so.
Oh, Tawny.
Sorry, I didn't even think about that until you just said, like, the way you were saying it, I was like, wait, it's like a light bulb.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
okay.
Oh, I hope that's not correct, but it might be. So that's sad. But now Thorne wants to know how Liz ended up as a courtesan, because her dialect and her words indicate that she has been educated, which is not common of those within her trade. And while she doesn't tell him this, we learn that Liz was actually educated by a prioress, basically like a priestess. And we find out that a highborn cannot lie, which we have heard this before. So we have to believe everything he's telling. But again, you can kind of skirt the truth a little bit. So we learn that Thorne does in fact have a heart, but it has not beat in a long time. Not as it would for a mortal. So very interesting here. I'm like, you have one, but it's not beating. Maybe because you are missing your heartmate. Your, I don't know, Nekora? Maybe.
Perhaps.
I don't know. Maybe one of those. Maybe that thing that's bathing you. Maybe you need that. Interesting. And Liz does also end up sharing her interest in plants and how they make her feel. And like she's like, I love them. They make me feel at home. I like being part of the earth. And that seems to affect him because now he wants to know more about that. And he's like, are you in them at night? Are you always in the, I keep wanting to call it the catnip, but it's catmint. For me, it's catnip. Who knows? He's just like, are you often in the garden? Is that why you are drawn to that? Do you like plants? Interesting.
Or do you like me?
Or do you like me? And then Thorne asked Liz to join him in the tub. Okay, first of all, how big is this tub? Because I'm thinking, originally, I'm like, is this a small little like metal tub? But no, it's got to be a big one. And where can I order it? Can I get that on Amazon? Can I get some Linnea and like a big giant tub?
6'8"?
He's a big boy. And she's not tiny, but she's not huge either. But, two good-sized people. So anyway, basically this is going to lead to some fairly tame hand action, which is a bummer. But Thorne then does question her how long she has been servicing others because he doesn't believe her. He's like, Normally one would know how to stroke someone like this. And he like literally is like guiding her on how to touch his cock and like give him a hand job. And then he ends up finger fuckering her, and that is very nice. So he's finger fuckering her. Fuckering. Why am I saying that? He's finger fucking her. It could work, finger fuckering. I don't know. And she gives him a hand job, and it's enjoyed by everyone. Everyone loves it.
It's just some finger fuckery.
Finger fuckery. New term.
New term. Change approved. It's also important to notice that Liz mentions the round knot of flesh at the base of his cock. And I was like, that sounds very similar to how Poppy described Castile's cock in the Primal Blood and Bone. And I just wanted to call that out. A special little note.
Please. Thank you.
And then he challenges her about servicing him not being the only reason why she was sent to his room. So he knows there's more. And she does tell the truth that Claude wanted to learn more. And he was like, he's very worried about the ties. And I feel like Thorne's like, yeah, I wouldn't be sent here for that shit.
That's beneath me.
That's beneath me. Thorne demands to know if Liz had a choice in being sent to his room to ferret out this information and service him. And she admits that she was forced to come, which is different than what she told Grady earlier. Because Grady asked her if she was given a choice, and she said, yeah, she could have told Claude no. But here, she's kind of admitting, like I had to do it.
Yeah. Like you're given a choice, but right? You know you're not really given a choice.
So Thorne also seems concerned about what will happen to Liz if she doesn't have information to provide to Claude in the morning. And she's like, oh, he'll just be disappointed. And Thorne's like, I call bullshit on that. And he goes, tell him I want to discuss the Iron Knights and don't mention to him that you told me about trying to get like information out of me. And then she's getting ready to leave the room, and he's like, will you stay the night with me to sleep? And I was like, oh, so sweet to sleep. I mean, you still, yes. And she's like, I can't. And then she leaves with the feeling that she belongs with him. And I'm just like, why are we leaving the room? Go back.
Don't leave. Go back.
Don't leave.
Yes. But then after she leaves, she catches up with Grady on what Thorne told her about wanting to speak with the Iron Knights. Grady also wants to know what happened with you and him. Like, you can tell me anything, but what happened in there? Honestly, at this point, I didn't realize that Grady was gay. So I was like,
I don't know if he is.
No, they talked about him like having a relationship with another guy.
With one guy.
Yeah,
I think he might be bi.
So maybe he does love Liz in that way too. But I was just like, is he jealous? Like, I don't know.
I think he's jealous. I think there's a jealous element. Like, I think there's this weird, like, brotherly element, but I think there's a jealousy element too.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry. Like, why would you want to know exactly what happened?
Well, maybe he likes Thorne too. And he's like,
maybe it's a joining opportunity.
That's immediately where my mind goes. A joining.
Is it?
Everybody? So he's like, you can tell me anything. Please tell me what happened. And she's like, no. So she shares with him how this is the same highborn that they met in Union City, but that he has not recognized her yet. And Grady's like, that's a hell of a coincidence. But neither one of them believes in coincidences. And neither do I when it comes to reading these books. Like, no,
same.
It's not a coincidence. This is planned. This is fate. This is destiny. Additionally, Grady talks about how they could just go. They could just leave Claude's Manor and go to another city right now, like leave all this behind. But Liz is not interested in that because honestly, their life would be harder anywhere else. They're like, we have it so good. We have a roof over our head. We have food. We have clothes. Like, we're not begging on the streets. Like, we should stay. But we also learned that Grady would like to use his talents for the Iron Knights, meaning he's a blacksmith. He's actually really, really good at this shit. And he doesn't think, honestly, that the Highborn would do anything for the Lowborn, so he wants to help out the Iron Knights. He likes their mission statement. And then he says he eventually wants to marry and have children. And why would he bring a child into this world when the Highborn control everything? Like, they control education, they control the land, like, etc., etc. And specifically, he mentions them going to a place called Cold Springs, which is a town in the Eastlands that is known to be right now a rebel stronghold. Basically, he's like, let's leave this shit and go join the rebellion. And as tempting as that is, she's like, I don't know. Liz tries to argue that Thorne is different, mentioning how, exactly, mentioning how he saw the bruises on her arms that night in the Union City, and then he killed the mister as a result. Like, she's like, he protected me even then. But what's fascinating is that Grady claims the prince didn't ask that. Like, okay. Like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, he never asked you how those bruises happened. So does that mean that Liz and Thorne spoke telepathically? That they were connected? Interesting.
Interesting.
Mm.
So the next morning, Liz goes to see Claude, shares the information that Thorne gave her. Turns out Claude didn't even know he was the Prince of Vitress. He
How
assumed
do
he
you
was just
not
merely a
know
highborn.
your own prince? Like,
Because you're that drunk and dumb.
you're that high on midnight oil.
You're that high, you just don't know. And then Liz claims it's hard to read Thorne even when she was touching him and mentions seeing a white wall. And Claude wants to know exactly what transpired between her and Thorne. And then he weirdly touches her during that part of the conversation, which is odd because it's been years since he's touched her in that manner.
I think he's just jealous too.
Yeah, men are weird.
Because he's like, I want to want you, but you're just not my type.
Correct.
Thanks.
But I also don't want other men to have you, but I do.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
It's very strange.
And then she shares with Claude that Thorne hasn't created a ray in a long time and that he's searching for something, but she doesn't know what it is. And those are two things that Thorne did not tell her to share with him, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, like, you're not disclosing information I don't think you're supposed to.
Correct. And Claude stills when he hears about this and wants to know who he's looking for information on. But he doesn't say anything else. And she didn't say who. She just said he was looking for information on something.
Something.
So Claude knows something. I think Claude knows who she is to him. Although Thorne has left this morning, he'll be back for dinner. And Claude would like Liz to join him during this little fun meeting. And I'm like, great.
Cool.
Then Claude leaves the room. Hi, Mel, this is not his name, but just bear with me. Every time I read it, I just read it as Hyman. Like every single time. And I couldn't stop.
Wasn't there like something about how Heimel like literally can't get off?
Yes. And I like, so to
so
me.
that works. He's a forever Hyman. Forever
He's a forever Hyman. So that's what my brain says. So if you hear it from me, that's why. But he demands to know what Claude spoke to Liz about in private. Because he was just asked to send a message to the Prince of Primavera requesting a meeting. And I'm like, hi, Mom, you must not be that important because you don't know what's going on, but you're second in command. And then I'm like, okay, so what is Claude hiding and where do his loyalties lie? Obviously to himself, but like, who is he really loyal to? Who is he really protecting? Mm-hmm. And also, Heimel is an overall asshole to Liz. And she ends up seeing an image of him impaling himself on his own sword, which we learned is not how he dies later. But she realizes this is in the future. It's what she wishes he would do to himself. And I was like, is this a breadcrumb of what will happen in the next book?
Could she perhaps control someone if she inflicted that much will?
That's what I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm. Who else do we know can do that?
I don't know. We might have seen some people die at the end of the Primal Blood and Bone. Whoopsies.
So then later that day, Liz wakes up from a nap. Must be a lovely nap. Mm-hmm. And she turns and sees Thorne right there in her room, watching her sleep. That's not creepy at all.
It reminded me of, do you know how you would like pop through a tear in the realm and you would be like, hi, it's Thorne. That's what I thought of. Like, you wake up and he's like, hello, it's me.
Hi. And she's just like, what the fuck? And she makes it clear, like, I'm not working as a courtesan right now. Like, I'm off the clock. Sorry. I can't please you. I can't service you. Maybe. I guess in his mind it does. But he basically thinks that's really funny. He's like, that's really hilarious. And that pleases him. And he's like, I want all of our interactions going forward to be just between the two of us. He's like, I don't want things to be dictated by a third party, aka Claude. So it's pretty comical then that Liz is like, there's not going to be any future interactions. Like, what? Sure. Famous last words. Sure. And she also now is feeling this like primal urge to run, knowing that he would chase her. I'm like, This sounds sexy. This also reminds me of Castile and Poppy, little cat and mouse. Wow. And he then calls her out on that. He's like, "You're feeling aroused right now." I'm like, "How dare you?" And yes. And apparently, just like the presence of a highborn doesn't, or it always doesn't necessarily make someone feel aroused. It only heightens when it's already there. So she was already feeling turned on, and his mere presence is making her more turned on. Hello. I
Hello.
am here for that. And so then Thorne wants to know how Liz is sharing information with Claude went this morning. Like, how'd it go? Like, what'd he say? Like, give me the deets. And then he notices that there are some bruises on her that look a lot like fingertips. And we know, of course, that's courtesy of fucking Hyman. Hyman. And he then kisses the bruises to make them disappear, but makes it very clear he wants to know who gave those to her. And she's like, "Oh no, I was just gardening." Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Sure you were. He's like, "Uh-huh. Yeah, not buying it." And then Thorne makes it very clear that Claude is reckless with Liz and that he doesn't like that. And that she honestly could have been killed by being sent to a highborn's room without them being aware of her arrival. He's like, anybody else would have been absolutely killed and like torn to pieces by my guards or by me. And he also is like, why would Claude send someone that's clearly inexperienced in terms of courtesan activities? Which, that's rude. Honestly,
But
I'm
also,
like,
if he could make you climax for 4 hours or more, like, I feel like you got to work up to that.
you got to work up to that. That's true. And that's when Liz claims to be one of Claude's paramours and that he just doesn't mind sharing her with other men. And she doesn't mind being shared. Interesting. She does not mind being shared.
Huh.
And additionally, yes, Thorne then has this feeling that he knows her. And he's like, I have this strange sensation that we've met before, like deja vu. But she does not say anything. She's like, nope, my intuition is telling me not to tell you anything, and doesn't. But he can start to sense it.
Yeah. Or he knows when he's testing her.
Mm-hmm. I think he knows.
So then Thor mentions he's a Dominion and was created, and then he, along with the princesses, and the king, cannot feel compassion or caring. And Liz notices that the feeling of him having compassion causes him great unease. And I was like, is this about the fucking balance again?
Oh, fucking balance.
That's all I thought it was. And the fucking balance rears its head again. So when she's alone, Liz notices her eye color might be changing. She sees a shade of pale blue in her eyes, which are normally only brown. And then she assumes it's her imagination. And I'm like, girl, that's not your imagination.
You did not suddenly get colored contacts and they moved around. No. That's not true.
So then it's time for dinner with Claude, Thorne, and Liz. She's wearing a dress that barely covers her body. I was getting very much like sheer dress from what, Fire in the Flesh vibes that he makes Cole makes Sarah wear.
Dressed to meet the god of death.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Claude has made zero good choices during the afternoon with the Bauer brothers. He's only slightly less intoxicated than the previous evening. And he's pissed that Thorne hasn't shown up yet. And I'm like, this is going to go so well for Claude.
Yes. Yes.
Thorne shows up with 2 other highborns in his entourage, Lord Bastion. And every time I read his name, all I thought about was the Thrall series. And so while this is not the depiction of him, in my mind, he's Bastion. Plus we have Thorne.
Plus we have Thorne, yeah. I'm just like,
I can't. Mm-hmm. I'm like in that world. And then Commander Lord Raziel?
Raziel?
Let's
call him Raz.
Raz. We'll call him Raz. I like that.
Lord Raz.
Change groups. Each of them is wearing a black leather chest plate that has a sword with a cross handle framed by wings outlined in a thread of gold. And I was like, huh. That seems vaguely familiar.
It does.
And as always, the annoying as fuck Hyman is there too. I think I just might call him that.
Change approved.
Change approved for the rest of his time in said book. Mm-hmm. Thorne questions Liz on her love of gardening and how she can differentiate between the various species. And everyone else is like at this dinner going like, how do we make this stop? Me? Like, are you kidding me right plants?
Now? I don't care.
And seeds. And what? Is he really doing this? And I feel like Thorne's just like, tell me more. And I'm like, no.
Fascinated.
It's kind of like when one of my sons starts talking to me about video games or like superheroes. And I'm like, have no idea. And they'll be like, oh, did you see that? Mom, what do you think? And I'm like, I have no idea. I didn't know there were that many versions
Mhm.
of like
Mhm.
Spider-Man. I thought there was
Oh.
one and it was Tobey Maguire.
Ah, yes, the
And they're
upside down
like,
kiss.
and they just like look at me like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like,
Like you have 6 heads.
right? They're like, Mom, or like they're like Avengers. I'm like, you are not, like, I am not the target audience for this, you guys.
No, no. But meanwhile, Thorne's like, tell me all
Hello.
about everything in your
Plants.
mind. Plants.
Correct.
All the things.
So Liz tries to read the mind of the commander, and she can break through his mental shields, and she can do the same with Lord Bastion. And they both think that Claude is dumb as fuck, and question like how he's running this part of the kingdom. And this makes Liz question what Claude really knows about being able to break through the mental shields of a highborn, because he's alluded to up until this point that Liz is the only person with these types of powers that he's met, which we learned later is not true. And then Thorne takes issue with Claude calling Liz pet. And I was like, same, Thorne, same. Because it reminds, every time he would say pet, I thought of Colas and how and like, we used to call Sarah, like, he wants her to be his pillow pet princess, right? His little pet. Or how he wants Poppy to be his pet. And so I could see, while Thorne has no memory of that previous world, that be like a triggering thing for him.
Yes, he is not like that at all.
Neither do I.
And then
How
he's
is that
like,
a term of endearment?
yeah, right. Come on, pet. Like, bitch, you don't own me.
Right?
I don't have a collar. Unless I'm in the Wolf King, then I have a collar.
And you're Blake.
And I'm with Blake, yes. Mm-hmm. So then Thorne suggests Nayla as a much more fitting term of endearment for Liz. Oh, is it now? I think so. And she's like, yeah, it means brave or stubborn. Which one is it today? He's like, I don't know. Maybe both. And then he drops another big bomb that he plans on staying there for a while. He's like, I'm going to sit in. I'm gonna be here for a little bit. Which appears to be a surprise to everyone, especially Claude, and is very unnerving to him. He's like, uh-oh. He's like, Liz, can you come here? Can you come please sit with me? Come sit on my lap. I need my pet. I need my pet to feel better. So then Thorne believes that the Westlands have amassed an army and will be marching it towards Archwood and the court of Primavera. So the Iron Knights apparently are with their leader, Vane Balin. They have joined forces with the Westlands. So shit's about to go down. It's not going to be good. And according to Thorne, the princess believes it is time for a queen to rule instead of a king. Which, I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Women do it better anyway. And apparently there have been no queens as rulers since the Great War.
Interesting.
When was that Great War? And Thorne also states that Archwood will be defended, and there are several hundred highborn warriors and 500 of the Crown's regiment waiting on his orders to come and help out, basically. So Claude is a moron, naturally, and questions how are these forces going to be able to compete with several thousand of the Westland and Iron Knights? And Liz is like, pretty sure that just like a couple hundred highborns will literally equal several thousand lowborns. Like, there's no problem. These guys are going to be able to kick ass. It's going to be easy. But Claude, being the moron he is like, the math isn't mathing. I don't get it. There's more of them. What? I'm like,
Also,
Claude, shut up.
Iron Knights. Do you remember what we saw in the Primal Blood and Bone and Iron Spear? Knights. I know. And it looks like the continents. I know. Just...
Holy shit. Stephanie, I did not compute, did not connect that. Well, then this changes everything. Oh, okay. Well, moving forward, my mind is now thinking of that. Claude is a moron, as we said. Lots of highborn fighting lowborns, not great. And Thorne now is like, I want anyone who is of age who can assist in the fighting in Archwood to be trained, including Claude. He's like, because, Claude, you cannot ask others to fight for you and fight for their homes and lives if you're not willing to fight for one yourself. Claude's like, uh-huh. Yeah, I haven't picked up a sword in a long time, but yeah, sure. Okay.
It'll be
Yeah, I'll
fine.
do it. Be fine, be fine. And he's just like, pet, pet, help me, pet. And apparently we learn here that if Archward were to fall to the Westlands, then the entire city would be destroyed. That's not
Great.
good. That's not good at all.
So then everyone leaves the room, and then it's only Claude, Thorne, and Liz, and things get more interesting because Claude decides to have a wandering hand on Liz, and Thorne does not like it. Like he is poking the Highborn right now, and not in a good way of poking.
No,
And
no.
Claude refers to, how he protects everything that's his and and Thorne's like what? He's like, well, everything and everyone in this manner. Liz is the most valuable of them all, which normally you would think is a really good compliment, but it's like, and Thorne does agree, but it feels like a weird dick measuring contest
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
happening. And Liz is just like, okay. And then he's like, Pet, go sit on Thorne's lap. And what does Thorne do? Finger fuck her at the table and covers her mouth with his hand when she comes because that sound is only for him. And I was like, sweet Jesus.
The
I
finger
like
fuckery.
so much finger fuckery in this book, but also like him
Oh,
covering her mouth and like whispering like that sound is only for me is the most like possessive hot thing. It's
God.
better than Good Girl.
And also, honestly, like she was getting finger fucked over by Claude, right? But
I
didn't
think she's
really
getting
come to
like
orgasm.
stroked,
She was getting teased. Nothing happened.
teased.
There was no
Yeah.
orgasm there. And that's when he's just like, my hands are tired. Go over there. And does not take long. And again, when Claude was doing it, like Thorne could see everything. Like legs were
On
open to
purpose.
him
Yeah.
on purpose. Yeah. And then when she goes to Thorne, he's like, no, this is mine. Doesn't let Claude
Mine.
see what he's doing.
Which is, I mean, but Clyde can see it on her face.
I mean, yeah. But could you imagine like someone watching you and like they like have to cover your mouth and you're just like, whew,
Right?
good
It's like their
Lord.
own little mini sex club orgy.
I know. It's a different kind of joining. It's a watching.
Yes. So watching.
It's a voyeurism.
Yes. So
But she likes
Thorne,
it.
she likes it, and Thorne likes it as well because he would like Liz for his duration of time there. She's his. He will need to feed and prefers to do it from her, or at least that's what he tells Claude. And I'm like, are we reserving women now?
Yeah,
Like,
wait,
what?
what?
This
Like
is
this was
not
not this
like
the finger fuckery was not a deposit. Like what?
correct.
You don't
I have
have
something
dibs.
way better than that for a deposit.
Yeah, yeah. You want to call dibs, you better dibs.
You can buckle up, Buttercup.
Or
Liz
unbuckle.
is, or well.
Mm.
So Liz is furious and tells Thorne no, he can't have her. And I was like, yes, queen.
That's right. You
And
cannot
then
be owned.
you cannot be owned. We're not property. And then Thorne calls Claude out directly on his shitty treatment of Liz, including the bruises he's found, which Claude is like very appalled by. So like I was like, okay, Claude, you are a decent person.
Yeah.
Claude has it, but then Claude's like, I have no problem with your request to have Liz while he stays here. And I'm like, she's in the room.
Yeah, like, hello, I'm here. Hi.
Hi.
I just
And
had a
then
big orgasm in front of you. Like,
I'm also like, have you had that big of an orgasm? How can you function right now?
right, yeah.
Like, do you
right.
need a nap?
Hours. I would.
Thorne then tells
Science.
Liz she has an hour to get ready. Go ready yourself. And then he leaves. And I'm like, ready myself? What the fuck does that mean? Like, take a nap?
Also, how am I gonna ready myself?
Right?
Whew. Yes, please.
But I'm also like, she might need a nap, right? Like, maybe he's like,
Yeah.
and then my other thought was, did you think that you've just ruined her for all our men, Thorne? Is that what we're getting at?
Right.
You need to rest because my finger fuckery has done you
My
in.
finger fuckery. Yes, exactly. So then when Claude and Liz are alone, he demands to know who bruised her because he is protective of her in that way. He's like, who did this? Because I didn't do that. Like, what happened to you? But she refuses to tell him. And then he admits to knowing why she stays there with him, to keep herself and to keep Grady off the streets. He also shares that she will be shared with the Prince of Vitris. And basically is like, you know what? Yeah, there's going to be some Iron Knights that are going to be headed this way. So if they want you to, yeah, sure, whatever. And Claude also vaguely mentions that if Balin is given an order, that he is going to follow through. And he knows this because Claude and Balin are related. I'm
Didn't see
sorry,
that
what?
coming. Excuse
Right,
me.
no, did not see that coming at all. And it's like, okay, why is that a big deal? Well, it's because it means the leader of the Lowborn Rebellion is actually also a Celestia. So he's actually a Starborn person too. Much like Liz.
Huh.
So then Claude also makes two other very vague comments that are definitely going to be breadcrumbs for later. The first one is that Thorne won't think Liz is a conjurer because if anyone would know, it would be him. And that feels like Thorne may know the truth of Liz's powers already, and that perhaps he knows more about everything at this point in the book. Who knows? And then second, he comments on how Thorne can provide Liz with everything. Like,
Oh. Huh.
what? Like Cora? What?
Yeah.
Everything. Claude, you know so much more than you are leading on.
You are. You are like a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
Do not love. So then Lord Bastion comes back to escort Liz to Thorne's chambers, and she's like, I have a headache.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. And he finds that super entertaining, and he questions if the headache is approximately 6'7", which is 1 inch shorter than Thorne technically is. And I like that. I thought that was great.
Hilarious.
And then Thorne shows up and she throws a glass at him, accidentally, of course. She did not mean, and he like causes it to like disappear into sand. She's like, it slipped across the room at your face.
Oops.
Oops.
Slipped.
So then he picks her up and carries her to his room. They run to Bastion, who also thinks this is hilarious. And we learn that Christian has left for the capital and the king will be displeased about something. And Christian wants to meet her. And I'm like, okay, so he wants to meet Liz, we assume. And I'm like, who the fuck is Christian?
Yeah, who's that?
And why are you telling me about him? So then once they get to Thorne's room, he makes it very clear he will chase her if she runs and capture her. And I was like, I think Castilla said very similar things to Poppy in A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. And yes, here for it. Thorne also questions whether Liz has feelings for Claude because he's not worthy of her feelings. And Thorne admits to being jealous when Claude was touching her at dinner. And I'm like, let me get this straight. He's really great at orgasms. He's a bad boy. He doesn't want other men to look at touch you. He's killed people for you. He's a prince. We are against this. Why? Why?
Are we wanting to run
Oh,
away?
and he apparently can make you orgasm for hours. Forgot that one.
Yeah. These all seem like green flags. Yes, please. Run towards this.
Right?
Yeah. Don't run away. Run into it.
Exactly. So then Thorne and Liz have a fairly serious conversation about the feast, about how she knows what it's like to be starving because she was an orphan, which then he questions if she's ever been to any courts, mentioning how they're beautiful on the outside, but ruin and wrath on the inside. And then I was like, okay, we're calling them courts now. We've had courts in the Elysium before.
We have.
And I think that's how you would describe courts pre-Colas being entombed. A lot of the courts were of I'm thinking specifically of Ken's court, Thessus, right? They just weren't great places.
They were not good places.
He also admits the king could do more. All of them could. And I'm like, well, that sounds vaguely familiar, like a fate. And then he drops a real bomb. Turns out the king isn't going to be pleased because he is planning to defend Archwood, and the king would prefer to have it destroyed. And he's decided to save Archwood because of Liz. And I was like, once again, green flag. I mean, he's not the greenest of green flags like Nyktos.
Yeah, exactly.
He's more like Castile, right? He's morally gray, but I'm also
it's like
he's
a dark
saving
forest green where it's slightly black, dangerous, but also okay.
I know. I'm like, he's saving a fucking town for you.
Yeah.
Because you live there and you were brave.
Yes. You're welcome.
You're seriously, get on that.
Get on that. Ugh. Okay. But we do learn some other information from Thorne that we got to break down really quick. So, number one, He claims that he was not alive during the Great War and that he was created shortly after with knowledge of what had come to pass. And right there, I'm just like, you went to ground. You went to ground.
Correct.
Hello.
And you forgot your memories.
You forgot everything. So he refers to the Great War as the Revelations. Okay, sure.
I don't know what that means yet, but it's going to be something.
Yeah, I'm like, is this the War of Two Queens, the War of Two Kings, the war later?
The Great War. The Great War is what happens in the continents that we see when the ancients wake up.
Oh yeah, it's true. Which is not pretty either.
No.
Not good. So he also claims the Highborn have always been around and were worshipped as gods at one point in history. Okay, you know what that is?
Yep.
And others believed them to be elementals. Hello, elemental people. And that they were spirits that embodied nature. Dominions were ancient, as old as the realm itself. And here, when the first mortal was given life, they will likely be there after the last passes. So, interesting. Also, remember who created the mortals?
Right?
The Draken and Ethos.
Ethos.
So yeah, he's like, I've been here, like the Dominions, like we've been here since the beginning, I'll be here at the end. But will you remember it? Very interesting. So apparently when the Dominions moved into the role of the Watchers, or the Fates, they began to lose their connection to the mortals that they protected. So the wisest of all the Dominions was Michael, yeah. And he apparently saw all the dangers in all of this, that basically people were starting to lose connection to the mortals. Shit was going down. That wasn't so great. Accidents began to happen. And then Michael ordered them all to go to ground to go to sleep. And basically at that point, they're just like, yeah, you know what? We fucked up. You guys need to all take a little nap. Which I'm like, Thorne, did you not think that maybe you went to sleep? Did you not think that this was you? Okay. So then he reveals that the previous world was far more technologically advanced than this one. Again, referring to the continents that Poppy visited in the Primal of Blood and Bone. Everybody's walking around with their iPhones and their, all the stuff and the skyscrapers, and then boom, scary guy comes out of the ground and kills everyone. Ugh. Which I was just like, everything is overlapping with each other. It's crazy.
It's all making sense, right?
It all makes sense. So the destruction of that world awakened the Highborn. And those ancients then tried to warn people, but very few listened. Okay. Too few of the reawakened dominions had returned with a renewed connection to the mortals. So half of them basically ended up turning on mankind, and the other half attempted to defend mankind, leading to the war. Very interesting. And that there used to be 7 large swaths of land, continents, but now there are no longer 7. How many are there?
I don't know. I'm like, tell me.
How many? And the Great War didn't just end lives. It reshaped the world completely. So...
What if the 7 large swaths of land have something to do with the number of fates? What if there was like 1 per swath of land, and now there are no longer 7 because Poppy kills a fucking fate finally? God, I hope it's Illyrian.
God, I hope so. Mm-hmm. Wow. Ooh, that's a good theory. I like that.
Okay, just throwing out there.
I like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So then another bomb happens here. The king was alive back then. And he believed that mortals needed to be protected, but they just could not be trusted to rule the lands. Probably true. Because otherwise, history would just repeat itself. Very true. Probably.
Yep. And a similar war cannot occur again because mortals would not survive it. Everything must be done to prevent that from happening. And I'm like, we've heard this before. Yes, and all the things you're going to do to prevent it from happening will ensure that it does in fact happen.
Yes.
So, and this is why mortals don't know the true history of the realm, because otherwise they would fear the Highborn more than they already do. And Thorne claims that being created was like waking up, opening your eyes and knowing everything. And I was like, huh. Then he tries to explain knowing everything. And he mentions it takes a while to understand what you know, how it applies to the world around you. It can take years. And I was like, that sounds like the Videntia.
Yep. Exactly what Poppy experienced. Like,
or in Sarah, right?
Yeah, Sarah, yeah.
And Thorne claims it takes a while for a Dominion to form, and a lot of things can go wrong in the process of creation. They're conscious, and then their bones are forged from rock, flesh is carved from stone, all while the roots of the Whitewoods keep them fed. And then important note to remember earlier, when Liz talked about the Whitewoods, it made me think of the Blood Forest, like the description.
Yeah.
Children of Dominion are born and age like a Celestia or mortal, but perhaps slower. Dominions can choose when to have a child. Both parties just have to want a child to be created.
Huh.
And I was like,
Easy.
I wonder if that happened in the Primal Blood and Bone.
Did Poppy want a child? Does Castile want a child?
He thinks about having twin girls. So.
But both parties have to want it, so.
Maybe. We'll see. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Thorne claims not to have any children. I think because Thorne has no memories. If the creation process of a Dominion is disturbed, then what is unearthed is even less mortal than a Dominion. I was like, well, that sounds not great.
No.
Like,
what is how the creation process is just stasis.
Correct. Well, and I thought, like, do you remember when that ancient came out of the continents and he was kind of like, almost like mummy-esque, where he was like sucked Poppy's essence and ether to like regenerate parts of himself? I'm like, is that what you look like?
Ew.
I
don't like it. But let's not think about that creepiness. Let's think about something more fun, like some finger fuckery. So
more finger fuckery.
Then we get a spicy scene where Liz goes down on Thorne. Yes, please. And he encourages her very, very strongly. Finger fuck herself while she is doing that to him. And she has a massive orgasm. Plus, he makes it clear that the next time she's going to come, it's going to be on his dick. And that it's going to stay there until the very last bit of pleasure leaves her. And holy fuck. Yes, Thorne.
I was just like,
Next time you come, it's going to be on my dick for hours.
And you're going to be, and it's going to be stuck inside you until I wring like every bit of pleasure out of you. And I'm just like,
okay.
Sure. I have like 5 chapters of that.
Yes, 72-hour fuckfest. Is that where we're going here? Okay.
Can you imagine? Like, it might literally be that, Megan.
It might be. Yeah, it might. And I have no problem with this. Let's sign me up.
How long do you have to go into stasis after you have a 72-hour fuckfest?
Right.
Asking for a friend.
Just asking for a friend. Just curious. Poppy, can you tell us what's going on? And then we also learned that Thorne's heart used to beat like a mortal's, but it doesn't now because he lost his Nicora, which he says was everything. Didn't Claude say that you could give him everything?
Everything? He would give you everything?
Everything. Because you're everything. Anyway. And the next morning, Grady is less than thrilled to learn about this new arrangement between Liz and Thorne. He's like, about that. Are you sure this is the right idea? He's like, do you like Thorne? Because, like, you really shouldn't like him. You can't like him. Like, he's a bad guy. Like, he's literally destruction. And we're like, why? Well, why can't we like him? Is it because he's a highborn? Is it just because of who Liz is? Or something else? Because we definitely like the orgasms that he gives us.
Correct.
We like that. And the promise of more. We like that. So then Liz fills Grady in a little bit on some other information. Like, I don't know, Balin being a Celestia.
No big deal.
No big deal. But that doesn't seem to change his opinion on Balin and on the Iron Knights. He's like, I still think that, we should join the rebellion. He's like, there's got to be a reason, like a valid reason then, why Balin would partner with the Westlands. And perhaps the princess is different.
All I thought was,
maybe not.
How do you know you're in a cult? Someone brings you facts, and then you're like, yeah, but that's not what he didn't mean what he said. And I'm like,
He's not really going to do that. He's not really going to act on those actions.
He's just
He
saying
acts on
it.
those actions.
Uh-huh.
It's fine.
Oh, he's doing the things he said. Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Might be in a cult.
Might
Okay.
be in a cult.
Liz also mentions to Grady about how Claude claims that Balin was starborn. And Grady's like, yeah, you used to tell me about how the prayeress said that you were born of the stars. And Liz is like, huh. And then her intuition is completely silent on all things starborn because it involves her. And I'm like,
Rude.
huh, similar to the Videntia. And so where does she go to get more information? Maven.
Interesting.
So we learn that Claude is Maven's grandson on his father's side. Maven claims her family has old blood, meaning their ancestors can be traced back to the Great War, to the first of them, those who were once the stars watching over us, the Dominions, or the Ancients. The Celestias are created from a Dominion and a lowborn. When a star falls, a mortal is made divine, like Liz. And then she mentions how it was bound to happen. A prince came for what is his. Oh, and I got like chills when I read that. I was like,
interesting.
Interesting.
And so then later that night, Thorne finds Liz out on a walk. Because, she just can't sleep, so she's out on a walk. And he finds her.
Wandering around.
Just wandering around. She's like, well, I can't have an orgasm right now, so I guess I'll go walk around.
Thorne's not here.
He's not here, but now he is. Yay! And surprisingly, he tells her that Claude did actually show up to the training today. Interesting. He didn't do anything, but he showed up. He came.
He observed.
Gave some face. He observed. He was there for the people to give
clearly.
His face. Yeah. And then we also learned from Thorne that some courts actually will treat Celestias like servants.
That's major Colas vibes.
Favorites, perhaps.
Yep.
And the Highlands, where Thorne is from, is very dangerous. Even for a highborn to travel out there, without their knowledge. It's not a good place. And highborns can sense a Celestia because their essence is different than a mortal's. So you can sense her. But Dominions are never created alone. Usually 2 or 3 are created at the exact same time and share the earth. They share the earth, which is the same witchwood. So if you're born in the same area, they're together. And Thorne apparently has one brother and previously had a sister. So who was his sister? Thorne also enjoys reading old text, journals of those who lived before his creation. I'm like, there's only one journal I care about. Were you reading Miss Willow's journal?
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be hilarious. I would love that. Ooh, what if eventually Miss Willow turns into Maven?
Oh.
The Mavens are related.
Oh.
Ooh, that could be fun.
That could be fun.
Theories there. Liz then straight up asks him about Starborn. She's like, what is this? Tell me, what do you know about Starborns? And he's like, oh, they're mortals made divine. And he mentions yeah, it's real, and he does believe in them. He also mentions that it could mean a Nisaraf, which means everything. I'm like, okay, whose names are making up these words? Basically, you have NY''SERAPH SERA, Sarah,
Niktos and
Niktos, Neek, Serafina, Neeks. Yes, right. It's good. And she's like, okay, so have you ever called anyone else Anela? And he's like, nope, never have, never did. You're the only one because you are my Anela. Love it. And then he's like, will you dance with me? She's like, what? What do you mean? There's no music. And then music kind of materializes and echoes around them. And it's a beautiful moment, but it's not really a dance in the courts where you're just do, 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 do. It's middle school dancing. We're grinding on each other. His leg goes between her thighs and she's like, ooh, I like this friction.
I like those.
I like it. It's they're getting down to some old school, I can't even say it right now. It's good. It's good. Hot. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Could be like that. But then she gets this feeling to run, and she gives into it. And she's like, I'm gonna run. And I want him to chase me. And super, super Castile and Poppy vibes right there. Like, it's given the end of From Blood and Ash after she stabs him in the chest and he chases her out into the snow and then they fuck. And then, a kingdom of flesh and fire when she tries to run away from him and, spicy stuff happens. And I'm here for that.
And so are they.
Yes.
Because, oh darn, Thorne catches her and we finally get sex outside. So, interesting note. Liz wants to take him where he's the thickest at the base of his cock, but he won't allow her. And I'm like, this feels like a major breadcrumb, like, especially since we know it's similar to Castile. Mm-hmm. The spice doesn't stop once they get back to the manor. Thorne goes down on her, and it's really fucking hot. Everything with him is hot. And then, surprisingly, Thorne asks her to leave with him when he goes to meet the armies, but she doesn't think it would be wise. And I was like, go with him.
You should have gone with him.
I know. So then he asked if she'll have dinner with him when he returns, and she agrees to do that, which is a big deal because he's like, the princes are not used to asking for things. They just take what they want, and he's asking her all the time, which is super sweet.
Yeah. Then he leaves. Have to have manners, but he does. No. He says, please.
And then the next morning he leaves and promises to return to her. So Liz is like, I need to go talk to fucking Claude. Like, I need to know about your cousin. Like, did he have abilities similar to me? And Claude's like, yeah, he did. I didn't want to tell you because you would want to meet this person and that would endanger you. And I don't disagree. He's probably telling the truth in that manner. Yeah. He's like, I'm not really sure if you're a Celestia because you don't bear the mark in your eyes, right? Because her eyes are just brown. They're not this kaleidoscope, which is what like the Highborn were looking for in Union City. And Claude asks if Thorne knows that she's a Celestia yet. And Liz mentions he was only referred to her as a mortal. I was like, yeah, but I feel like he's been like dropping you breadcrumbs, Liz, because like he needs to like walk you to it. And then Claude drops like, I don't know, like a small bomb and says he knows that Thorne is the Highborn from Union City because of how he behaved towards her at dinner, how he claimed her. And I'm like, Claude, how do you know about any of this? What does the thing at Union City have to do with this? And he urges her to tell Thorne that she's met him before and ignore her intuition this time, but he doesn't explain why.
Should I trust Claude on this one?
Maybe, I do. Maybe I do. I think he knows who she really is and who she is to Thorne, and I think he's trying to help her.
Think so at this point? Maybe.
I do.
So things then start to get a little odd when Hyman is meeting with the Highborn Prince, Rainier, by himself. And there's no sign of Claude anywhere. Like, Liz just stumbles upon this, and she's like, why is he with the prince? Does Claude know about this? Where is Claude? She can't find him anywhere. She goes looking, and she's just like, something's not right. He's not here. Like, this is strange. He's not in his room. He's not anywhere. And then she suddenly has a vision of pools of blood and significant death, including a necklace that is drenched in blood, looks like sapphires and diamonds. And she knows that belongs to her friend Naomi. So now she's worried, like, oh my God, is Naomi going to die? Like, what's happening? And as a result of her vision, Liz then goes to Naomi and encourages her to leave Archwood for at least the duration of the feast. And previously, Naomi had came to Liz to ask her about how her sister would be doing after she got sick. And initially, Liz was like, oh yeah, your sister will survive the fever, but left out. Which is true. Which is true. She was going to survive the fever, but she left out another thing. So she goes to Naomi and is like, hey, you remember when I told you your sister is going to recover from the fever? Yeah, that was true, but she's not going to live to see the end of the feast. So maybe you should go be with your sister. And let's just say Naomi was very, very pissed off about this. She feels like this is a lie to her. And she's like, now I feel like I have to question you on everything. When in reality, it's like, okay, no, it's not. She's being your friend. She's trying to save your life. And Naomi does leave. And now I'm kind of wondering, did Claude go with her? But no, Claude was already missing before this.
Claude was already missing.
But maybe they met up. Who knows? So either way, she's like, I need my bestie to leave, and I'm going to say whatever I have to. She can hate me later, whatever, as long as she's alive. So Liz then attempts to get Grady to leave, but he refuses. He's like, fuck no, I'm not going to leave. Like, what are you talking about? And she won't leave either because she wants to be there when Thorne returns. And so we're like, this is not going to go well, I feel like, for anyone. And then Liz once again goes to look for Claude in his study. And who does she see there behind the desk ruffling through all of the paperwork? It's fucking Hyman. And he is there going through all the debt notices. And there's like huge stack of bills because apparently Claude has not been paying his bills. And they're going to be very behind on all of their money and it's not good. Basically, we knew Claude was a shit businessman. It was never going to work. Like, he can't manage anything. All he can manage is finding alcohol and
Fucking
midnight
people.
oil and fucking people. Yeah, that's all he can do. So Liz then mentions her vision to Hyman and suggests maybe we should cancel the feast. You know, maybe canceling the feast will avoid all of this bloodshed. But he refuses. He's like, nope, we're going to keep going on. And then he shares, by the way, Prince Rainer will be joining us for the feast. She's like, that's
Dun dun dun.
dun, dun, dun.
So then it's time for the feast, and the best way to describe it is all hell breaks loose. Claude isn't there. No one has seen him. No one seems worried besides Liz that he's not there. She sees...
I got a little worried for a second. I was like, wait, is this going to be like a Duke Tierman situation where like things are going to open and Claude was going to be hanging there dead? Like,
that was, well, I wish that was a Hyman situation.
Right, yeah.
Liz sees another highborn who reminds her of Lord Samuel from Union City, and then she realizes everything's related. Thorne's appearance, the Westlands, the Iron Knights, Claude's absence, the vision of Hyman, everything. That's his name now. It's Hyman.
It's his name now. It's Hyman.
And then she knows something is definitely wrong and something is coming. And the nightmares descend on the party, and chaos occurs as people are being torn apart. They attempt to run away. They can get in the building. Like, no one is safe.
Yeah.
There are body parts everywhere. Grady finds Liz and tries to get them to safety, and she is very overwhelmed with like all of the emotions of everyone around her, similar to what we've seen with Poppy in the past, especially when her powers were really becoming strong. He mentions that Primavera is burning and the Ray are coming over the hill, assuming it must be the Westlands. And I was like, all of this sounds horrible. Then we see, not great. Then we see Allison, who's wearing Naomi's necklace. And I'm like, great. So it wasn't Naomi, but also thankfully she's gone, hopefully, and safe. And Milton is there too. Then Liz sees Lord Samuel, but doesn't think he saw her. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works, girl. Liz kills a Nightmare with her Luna dagger, which Gray's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, interesting.
Now she's gonna get stabby.
And now she's getting stabby. Yes, please. They hide in a library. Liz is like, bitches, remain quiet no matter what.
Shut up and don't speak.
Right? And then Lord Samuel enters the library, telling them to come out, claiming he wants to help them. And stupid Allison listens. And I'm just like, you deserve to die.
Yeah.
Allison.
You're a dumb bitch. Like,
you're
sorry.
Dumb, right? Like, turns out Hyman is with them. They're looking for Liz. A prince promises not to hurt Allison if Liz comes out. And he was pretty vague in that statement.
Yeah. Because he also does hurt her a little bit.
Correct. So Liz comes out of hiding, Grady follows her, and then Hyman claims that Liz belongs to the Prince of Itrus, i.e. Thorne, and then Nightmare kills Allison. I mean, that's technically the prince did not harm her. Technically.
Yeah.
And then Prince ends up being Prince Rohan, who mentions how the gods stopped listening a long time ago, which feels like a breadcrumb. They don't see a mark in Liz's eyes, but Hyman insists that it's her. And then Liz is smart and makes Prince Rohan promise not to hurt Grady and she'll do whatever he wants. And then Prince Rohan claims he'll protect Liz from Thorne because Liz is his to kill. And I'm like, excuse me, what the actual fuck do you mean?
What do you mean? Exactly. And she's also like, what the fuck do you mean? He's not going to kill me. What? Why would he want to kill me? Why would he want to kill me? Why does he want to kill me?
What's going on?
Why? This
is it death by orgasms? Because I'll take that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I will take that, sure. But also, like, I'm sorry, why am I supposed to trust you when you just killed Allison and you caused all these people to be ripped apart and torn to shreds and die?
Right?
Oh, okay, I'll trust you.
Sure.
Liz is then taken to her chambers along with Lord Samuel, like he escorts her, and he wants to know about her abilities. And he claims that he knew someone like her once, whose future was also hidden from them. for a long, long time. But what does that mean? Like, you can't see her future? Who is she to you? What does this mean? And then he shares that Prince Rainier is dead because he was not in agreement with the king's wishes. That's not good.
No.
And then Liz confirms that Thorne doesn't know about her abilities. And Lord Samuel claims that Thorne may not know what Liz is to him yet, but he is drawn to her because she is everything to him, the Nicora. And Liz mentions Nicora, and Lord Samuel tenses. He's like, what did he say? What do you know about this? What did Thorne say to you about this? And she was just like, all she said was that his heart doesn't beat. Like, I don't know. And then Lord Samuel also wants to know if Thorne slept with Liz, figuratively and literally. I'm like, okay.
That's a weird question.
It's a weird question. So he's like, I'm just nosy. I'm like, yeah, but I think there's more to it. Like, does that create a joining of some kind when you have sex and sleep together? Like, why should we not do this? Why should we do this? And he then wants to know even more about like how she feels about Thorne. And this is really annoying. I'm like, this is none of your business. How dare you,
No.
sir? This is between me and Thorne. And she mentions only that she's like drawn to him, but she's not afraid of him. And apparently, Thorne is the only one, assuming highborn, that she does not fear. But she's his to kill if he wants to survive. What does that mean?
Right?
What? Okay.
I don't like that.
I don't like where this is going. No. And then Lord Samuel asks if he and Thorne are unknown to her. And she admits the truth that no, she remembers them. She's like, I was in front of you at Union City. But she was apparently glamored so that they couldn't see it. Which now we're like, okay, we need to figure out who glamored her. And it turns out that the Nicerophs, basically Nikto Seraphinas, are bonded to a Dominion at birth, and they become their Nicoras. So basically she is his Niceroph. Basically. She's a Niceroph, and she's his Nicora. All of it's connecting together. And basically we also learned that if Liz wasn't glamored, then Thorne would have recognized her immediately. Otherwise, he just kind of feels drawn to her because that connection is still so strong. So it's just a lot of information to process for her. She's like, wait, hold up. He wants to kill me, but he loves me because I'm his heart. I'm his everything. This is very confusing.
It's fine.
Then it's fine. It's going to be fine. And then he tells her that once the bond is completed, the Dominion gains their Nicora, their heartbeat, their heart, basically, and they gain their connection back to humanity, which is their compassion. And he vaguely mentions that the bond can be completed a few ways, but doesn't tell her. Of course, because why would he? He's like, just know that this completion of that bond is not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. And that apparently the Niceroth is a strength to a Dominion, and it's also their greatest weakness, because through her, Thorne can be killed. And what does that remind us of?
Right?
Yes, you're like,
Dun,
love
dun,
is
dun.
weakness, dun, dun, dun. Like, oh my God, all of the things. Oh, and by the way, Lord Samuel says she's going to be given to King Euros. So, I'm like, can we just remind men that women are not their property and you cannot just give us away? I'm sorry, no.
We're not potatoes.
You can carry me like a sack of potatoes. That'd be okay. But do not sell me as potatoes, please.
So then Hyman comes into Liz's room and she punches him, which he deserves way more than that for his asshole-like behavior. According to Hyman, Claude ran away because if he were there, then Hyman would kill him. Hyman thinks he's doing a good thing because if the king learned about Liz while Thorne was there, then the entire city would have been destroyed. Whereas what he's done will bring enough money to pay off the debts. And I'm like, interesting. Then Lord Aaron comes into the room, the one who looked like Lord Samuel to Liz earlier in the night because he's his brother. And he says something in a different language and it removes the glamour from her. And then he mentions, our liege will be very pleased that we found him and unbound near Seraph. Then he kills Hyman. And I'm like, wait a second.
Bye.
But yay, bye for Hyman. But your liege will be pleased that she found him and unbound near Seraph. Like, what does that mean? And who is your liege? Why wouldn't you say the king?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it not the king?
questions.
So the next Grady and Liz are in a room at an inn at the high because, the highborn have kidnapped them and they're taking them to the king. And they've stopped at this inn and Grady is tied up, which sucks. And it's very impossible for them to sleep because all they can hear are the highborn fucking things nonstop, and the walls are very, very thin. So while Grady is tied up, he's telling her, like, I think we're being followed. I'm not sure by whom, but you should try and make a run for it because you're not tied up. Like, I'm being used as bait to keep you here. But she's like, no, I'm not going to leave you. Like, you're my bestie. I love you. And then they hear screaming in the middle of the night. And they can tell it's not good screaming. It's bad screaming. Like, pain, not pleasure. And then Liz sees so many dead bodies when they leave the inn because apparently one of the knights that was with them just got out of hand and just, decided to start killing people. And that led to more screaming. And that screaming irritated Prince Rohan. So more people died. Well, that's rude. So one person screams and a lot of people get to die because of that. Cool.
Great.
But most of the town was left untouched. So just the people in their general vicinity died.
So thank you.
That'll make me feel better. Great. And according to Lord Aaron, Aaron, yeah. The king apparently abhors violence. He's like, oh, I don't like violence, and I don't like dens of vice and sin. Sure. And that this all would have been fine to him because it's just a cleansing. Like, we're just getting rid of the bad stuff in the world. And Liz tells him to fuck off. Good girl. Good girl. I love that. Reminds me of someone else I know. Sarah, Poppy. Fuck off. But that results in her getting hit, which is not good. And then he uses compulsion on her. And he reminds her that she's going to have to do what she's told or she's going to regret it. Because his only order is to bring her in alive and in somewhat good condition. There's no promises for Grady. So she better behave herself.
So then the group splits up with Lord Aaron and Liz head one direction, everyone else in the other. They're being cautious in case they're being followed. Out of nowhere, Lord Aaron is hit with an arrow, throwing him and Liz to the ground. It's a milky white arrow, so Luna. And then the horse takes off after hearing a call from the woods. And then, out of nowhere, dozens of fucking ravens. This is like, I'm so like fired up about this point. So dozens of fucking ravens fall from the trees and turn into a man, Thorne. And then Liz has a vision of her death at the hands of him, causing her to take off running. But then he captures her and smells of sandalwood. And then it ends and I'm like, give me the next book.
But then he says, I told you I would always catch you or find you.
Like,
and you're like, oh. My mind is
ravens?
so blown that it was ravens, not raisins. Raven.
I think raisins are less scary than a bunch of ravens coming at you. Like, does this mean Castiel's gonna be able to turn into ravens?
Fuck. It's cray cray.
Cray cray.
That is cray cray.
Let's do some hot and steamy real fast.
Let's do it.
This felt like a 3.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of finger fuckery.
Lots of finger fuckery.
Lots of finger fuckery. Okay, so we start in chapter 9, where Liz is masturbating. It was meh. It was okay. I think the thing that I liked the most about it was when she's thinking about, like, the memory of his voice tumbled me over the edge into ecstasy, and I was swept away by the tense but too short waves of pleasure. I was left panting and still aching, still unfulfilled. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I am also unfulfilled. Would want
by
more
that
please.
Scene.
Yes. Like, come on. And then we get to chapter 15, where Liz and Thorne get handsy in the tub. I would like this tub, please. Can I have that?
Right?
Yes. So he tightened my grip on him and began to move my hand up his length. I exhaled a shaky breath as he throbbed against my palm. This is how I like it, he told me, sending a shivery wave of heat through me as he drew my hand back down him. Tight, hard. You won't hurt me. But you can fuck me. Oh my God, I loved it so much. So great. And then we get chapter 16, where Thorne finger fucks Liz and she gives him a hand job. Don't fight it. Give in to what your body wants, he coaxed. Give in to me. And I shuddered, surrendering to his demands, to the demands of my own body. I gave myself over to the moment, rocking against him, my hand faster now, his fingers harder now. Muscles coiled low inside me, totter and totter until the tension bordered on pain, until I began to tremble. That's it, he growled, his body straining, his body humming against mine. I want to feel you come on my fingers, Nala. Oh, yes, please.
Yes, please. So then, chapter 22, we get some more finger fuckery at the dinner table. Claude was now who watched, but I realized how Prince Thorne sat, my lap and his hands were shielded by the table. Unlike the Baron, he didn't want another watching that closely, which was surprising. I would have thought. My thoughts scattered as the Prince's thumb joined in. Oh gods, I had never felt anything like that.
And then we get chapter 27, where Liz goes down on Thorne and finger fucks herself. He says, fuck, he growled, his body jerking again. I'd never really enjoyed this act all that much before, but I was greedy now. I was insatiable as I drew him deeper, reveling in his taste, in the deep guttural moans echoing from him. And when his hips started to rock, I wanted him to move faster, harder. I wanted all sorts of wicked things as I opened my eyes and looked up at him, my pulse thundering and my body aching. I squeezed my thighs together, shuddering at the flare of desire. His hold on the back of my head firmed, holding me in place as he moved. And I wanted, touch yourself. My eyes flew open. Oh, gods. I cried at the shiver of pleasure that rippled through me, my body shaking. I don't think I can. You can. I want those fingers inside you. I want them in you. That's my girl. Oh.
So then we get to chapter 30 when they finally have sex outside, and then later when they go back to the manor, he goes down on her. Oh gods, I gasped as he plunged into me. My chest clenched, my core spasmed, and everything unraveled as I moaned. Thorne? Fuck, he snarled, slamming into me. I felt him swelling, felt that knot at my opening as he pumped into me, and my body moved on its own, wiggling and trying to bring him in even deeper into me as pleasure rolled and rolled throughout me. And then when he's going down on her, one of the things that she says is the Prince of Vitrus was insatiable when it came to giving pleasure. Oh my. Okay.
Yes, please.
See? Yes, please. Very enjoyable. All right.
Mhm.
Terms of time to theorize, we got a lot. Okay, so when does this book occur in relation to Blood and Ash and Flesh and Fire? It is after the Blood and Ash series timeline. So, just so everyone's on the same page. I know it's a little confusing because people have mentioned the Great War and
I know, even I was
coming
confused.
from the ground.
I was like, wait, is this war, that war? And I'm like, okay, no, now I understand.
Yep.
I'm on the same page.
So it's after the Great War that Thorne alludes to is what's going to occur in the continents that when the ancients awaken. We've seen that start to happen, the primal blood and bone. It has been centuries since that occurred. So how do Highborn relate to the Blood and Ash, Flesh and Fire worlds? They're the exact same as ancients. It's another word for ancients.
Yes.
Or, as we learned, it's also Fates and Ere.
Yes. They're basically all the same thing.
Correct.
And then what does Nale mean? Thinking it's similar to Lisa, meaning it's similar to queen. So there's just so many similarities between how Thorne describes the definition of a Nale and how Nyktos describes Lisa to Serafina. It's just got to be the same word, just in a different language. So same.
So where did Claude go? Can he be trusted? First of all, Claude is a coward for running, if that's really the case, and he's an overall shitty leader.
Yeah.
However, we do believe he does have Liz's best interest at heart most of the time. Did he use her powers to further his own agenda? 1,000% yes.
Yeah.
Would he do anything intentionally to cause her harm? Absolutely not. If he really understood what was going to happen at the feast, we have a hard time believing he would have left Liz behind. Yeah. It makes us question if Claude didn't leave on his own accord or perhaps was taken or killed.
Perhaps. Does Grady have romantic feelings for Liz? It's complicated. Complicated. He definitely gives off like major protector vibes, which maybe could be tied to more of like a brotherly figure to her, like big brother. But then there are times where like he's talking to her about Thorne, like we get the suspicion he might be jealous of what's happening between the two of them, like physically. So like I'm like, is he just mad that he's being friend zoned? Is he brother
Yeah.
zoned? Like, I don't know.
Both.
Maybe it started that way and now it's like evolved. Like, I don't know. Now, who is Christian? He's mentioned by Lord Bastian and how he's headed to the capital and wants to meet Liz. This makes us think that he's got to be part of Thorne's inner circle. Hopefully, he's a good guy. And his desire to meet Liz also makes us wonder if he might know more about her, like who she is to Thorne, than like we are led to believe at this point.
Okay, so
Gotta be.
does Thorne know who Liz is, and does he remember her? So it's very clear, I think we can all agree, that Thorne is extremely drawn to her and vice versa. While he doesn't admit it to her, we do believe that he knows who she is in the book since pretty early on.
Mhm.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have wanted to save Archwood, especially if we believe that he has no compassion. If he has no
Mhm.
compassion, he wouldn't have wanted to save the city. He also wouldn't have gotten jealous at Claude touching her. Even
Mhm.
Claude mentions how he noticed how Thorne wanted to claim her. He also behaves differently around her compared to how another highborn would behave because he gives her choices. He also makes it clear that if she were to run, he would find her and mentions multiple times how he promises to return to her, causing us to believe he knows exactly who she is to him, but hasn't told her yet. Likely because she doesn't understand like what she is or who she is and what any of that means. So it reminds me a lot of when Kieran told Poppy that her and Castile were hurtmates and she couldn't believe him. Like she wasn't prepared to have that information. And I'm like, I think he's waiting for her to kind of catch up and get to the moment. Because think about when he said he wanted to be with her for like the rest of his time there. She was like, absolutely fucking not.
It's like, no. Why?
Like if he went to her and was like, "You're my Nikora, like we are to bond," yeah, she's gonna be like, "Absolutely fucking not."
He's like, fuck that. Bye. Not gonna
Kind
happen.
of like when Castile told Poppy at the end of From Blood and Ash, she was like, "I'm taking you home to marry," and she was like, "The fuck you are."
Yeah, like, no.
Yeah,
No. So he wants her to be in the right mindset before he drops those
correct.
bombs on her. Yeah. Makes
It also
sense.
puts her at danger, I think, too.
Yeah. Yeah. So then what do Nisoraf and Nikora really mean? We gotta theorize that these terms are similar to the heartmate bond in the Blood and Ash and Flesh and Fire series. We also think it's very interesting that one of them is called Nisoraf because it's an obvious tie between Nyktos and Seraphina in the name, like Ny apostrophe Seraph. Literally, Ni Seraph. Nyktos Seraphina. It's gotta be the same. Assuming that that theory is correct, it would mean that Liz and Thorne will cause great change to occur in the world. Hopefully that's a good thing. And that
Do you know, I
Korra
just
can mean like your heart, but
it does mean heart because you know why?
yeah,
What does Niktos have removed from him?
his heart, his Korra.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
my
all it's all
heart.
coming together, you guys.
It's a full circle. It's all there. It's all together.
It's all there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so how is a bond cemented between a Demian and a Nikora? Okay, so Lord Arian is super helpful when he mentions there are numerous ways to cement this bond,
Mm-hmm.
but does not tell us any of them. So we're going
Of
to
course
put
not.
out there a slightly unhinged theory that one of them has to do with sex. Hear us
Okay.
out. There are numerous mentions of this thick round knot at the base of Thorne's cock. He specifically mentions how Liz won't be able to take all of him, even though she will want to. And she even tries to pull him in deeper to her, but then he pulls out of her. And it makes us wonder if she takes all of him, does that somehow cement their bond? And he knows she's not ready for it, which is why he's preventing it from happening.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think so.
Because he also mentions, right, like the next time you'll come on my dick and like I basically will stay in you and like wring all that pleasure from you, which is not what happens.
Oh, I was disappointed. Promises, promises.
But I think that is how the bond is cemented.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't wait for that. So now we're waiting.
Same.
So we went from the joining to now the bonding.
We like it all.
Yeah, let's do
We
it.
better get all the details, Jennifer
Oh,
Armentrout.
God, I know. Now, can Liz potentially be able to control the future with her visions? I hope so. That'd be so fucking cool.
Right?
So there's that point where she's with Hyman, and she sees that vision of how she wants him to die, making us question, okay, is she going to have that ability to control minds and control actions and like make him do that to himself, much like Colas? Similar powers. Colas is as the true primal of death and born of blood and ash, and the primal of blood and bone could like make people kill themselves. Can she do that? That'd be cool.
I hope so. That'd be really cool. So can Thorne and Liz talk telepathically? We think so. It's possible they don't realize it yet, though, because we know that a supposed exchange happened between Thorne and Liz in Union City, and Grady swears he didn't hear it. So it's very possible they're talking to each other and they don't realize they're speaking words out loud.
Yeah. Now, is Thorne really a danger to Liz? Yes and no. So I don't believe that Thorne would ever intentionally hurt Liz. However, she is his Nikora, which puts her in danger, obviously, from anyone who wishes to harm him. Like, they'll hurt him through her. That's not great.
Yeah.
And it's also possible that he may have to kill her or appear to do so to save her life. Kind of similar to how we saw Castile ascend Poppy and Niktos had to ascend Sarah. So, okay, that could be bad. But we also want to point out that the vision Liz has at the end of the book only shows Thorne's hands around the hilt of a blade plunged in her chest. That doesn't mean he's the one who stabbed her. Maybe he's pulling it out.
Right? Okay.
Maybe.
So who is King Euros? We know it's someone who's currently alive in the Blood and Ash timeline. One possibility is that it's an ancient who has woken in the continents and we just haven't met them yet. However, we believe it's more than likely someone we've already met in the Primal of Blood and Bone. One theory is that it's fucking Column, given the name of the kingdom, and I'm really hoping that it's not true because that goddamn gold revenant needs to die in this next book.
Gosh.
There is a lot of speculation that it's Castile. I don't think it's Castile. But I do think it's someone that we know that is currently alive in the Blood and Ash timeline. I do have a slightly super fucking unhinged idea.
I have an idea.
Okay, you want to go first?
Could it be Kieran?
That's who I think it is.
Ah!
I think it's Kieran.
I think it's Kieran. Interesting. Give us your thoughts. Okay. Why does Thorne believe he was created from the ground? All right. We're going to go crazy town. We know Poppy owes Thorne a favor from the Primal of Blood and Bone. He's like, can I call you Poppy? She's like, no. Okay. But we think this favor ends up being related to putting him in the ground and wiping his previous memories, which causes him to think he was created from the ground and know things before he was created, but not because of his past. Like, he basically is getting put into stasis. He needs someone to do that for him. Will you do that for me? Will you do me this favor?
Yeah.
And then can I also call you Poppy?
No.
So she's like, no. Maybe at that point when she's just like, oh, maybe the dagger that Liz is seeing later, maybe she loses her shit and she has to be put to ground. So it's not really her dying, but she's get put to ground.
That's sad.
That's like further down the line. It's like way later.
I know.
It's like,
I just don't know how many books this is, Megan.
I know. And I want the next
Anymore.
one now. It's
No.
the problem.
No.
Give it to me now. One now.
All right, in terms of what's next, if you enjoyed this book, obviously you're going to love the rest of the Blood and Ash and Flesh and Fire series that we're assuming you've already read. If not, get to it. And then also would highly recommend checking out the Thrall series. There's a lot about this world that reminded me of the world K.A. Riley built. There are 5 books out in that series. The 6th book comes out in December, which we cannot wait to read.
Yes, cannot wait. And then join us next week when we dive into the world of contemporary romance and discuss Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal by Megan Quinn. It's given us all the fun Christmas vibes. Cannot wait. Happy December in that case. And also happy reading.
Happy reading. Thanks for listening to Late Night Reads. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Late Night Reads Podcast. And check out latenightreads.com for even more information about all the books we're reading. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And share the show with your fellow book lovers.